Just getting initial jobless claims here week over week, 231,000 versus 220,000 expected here. A little bit delayed on the site, but 231 versus 220 expected. There it is. Negative 5.9% on the Philly Fed Manufacturing Index. That's not a percent, just a number. Negative 5.9 versus negative 9 expected there on the Philly Fed Manufacturing Index. Import and export price data just coming through as well. Negative 2 versus negative 1.7 on the last print. For import prices. Exports a little delayed there. Overall, that is about the extent of what economic data we're going to get this morning. There is a little bit more coming up at 10 o'clock as far as some housing data is concerned. We'll also get, a long list of Fed speakers once again today. So get set for that. Really hasn't been much in the way of market moving headlines coming from these over the past few days, but we'll keep an eye out for anything that could potentially come through. Overall, the market trying to hold on to some key levels here. More retail earnings this morning, obviously, with Walmart and Macy's coming through. We'll talk about that. BOVA downside in a big way. PanW downside in a big way coming off their report as well. It's Thursday, November 16th, 2023. Tradertv.live starts now. There's Cisco for you this morning as well. Another one that we'll get into, I'm sure, downside in a huge way. It's a daily chart, but big gap to the downside here. Coming off this data, again, if you're just joining a little bit late, import-export prices, continuing claims, 1.8 million, 1.86 million, I should say, versus 1.84 expected there on the continuing jobless claims. Initial jobless claims, 231 versus 220. That should help things out once again today as far as the overall market is concerned. Coming off, remember, back-to-back days here of better than expected inflation-related prints as well. I checked this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
I checked this morning. We're up 13.5% in 14 days.
I like it, Brian.
On the NASDAQ. And maybe due for a little bit of a pullback.
Yeah, well, we got a hint of one yesterday as the market really didn't react to that PPI number, which came in better than expected. Another good jobless claims today. We'll have to see whether or not we get a good reaction. I woke up this morning and I saw the 10-year at around 4.5. Off the 2.5% that it gained yesterday. So many earnings to talk about, especially retail, Walmart, Macy's, the gamut, Brendo.
Yeah, interesting report from Alibaba as well. When it comes to their spinoff, they're going to change things up a little bit. Just hearing the yields downside this morning as well. 10-year, the 30-year all lower. DXY downside a little bit here to start as well. That's Alibaba. On the daily chart coming off their report. Not good, and some changes coming as far as the spinoff is concerned that we talked about. I feel like it was a long time ago that they actually announced that this was going to come through. So some changes. Anyways, we'll get into things here. We have a few things to discuss. Anyways, morning, guys. It's one of those days where we've, just saying, 13.5% almost in 14 sessions here for the NASDAQ.
It's true, but ooh, those earnings so scandalous, and all those dip buyers couldn't handle this. You know I'm talking about Cisco. Had to. So Cisco to the downside, PanW to the downside, although, they're all bouncing. Just get out of the way. Alibaba and every Chinese ADR to the downside today, but that's okay because the market's flat. So it's at the end of the day, this is very much, and we've been talking about this is like a trader stock picking the right name market because you'll have some strong names in a day. You'll have, yesterday Intel was strong and Nvidia wasn't necessarily, and you're going to get a little bit of that. So I think it's a good thing for trading. We can expect that to continue, I think, throughout the rest of earnings here. And as I said, most of these have bounced early, but it wasn't very good for Cisco. Anybody can say what they want about how the meeting went with Xi, but all the Chinese ADRs are down. So that kind of speaks for itself. Some of it has to do with Alibaba. It should be a good day trading today. You still have Coinbase at $100, big level in there. Retail was doing, it's mixed. Okay, Macy's is up. Walmart's to the downside. And Amazon Amazon was weak yesterday, and it's definitely getting kicked in the butt a little bit here today, because on that spike on the number, Amazon didn't go anywhere. So a lot to look at. Should be an exciting day of trading. Whether or not the market gives you a couple of points, you don't have to look very far to find some names that are going to give you much more than that.
Yeah, welcome, guys. I'm just busy typing out the sticky note here so I don't get harassed anymore for not having it out. All right, so basically, I'm short biased today. I really think that the NASDAQ has a good chance. I mean, that number kind of throws things off a little bit, but all it did was give me an opportunity to get short. So right now, we're short the NASDAQ right here, right now. So if you guys are futures traders, hello, I'm in it. I think this breaks this 15. Yeah, exactly, there it is. I like that, nice, thanks, Fabian. If you break right there, 15.8, then I think 15.6 is the next stop, right? So I think we're right there. We were about close to breaking it. So obviously these import prices and Philly Fed and all that, that's real nice. But honestly, that's not going to stop the momentum here, what I think is a downside push. So right now we're short the market. If you want to take it with me, we're basically short like at 15.855, so it's about 5 or 6 handles in right now. We're going to use the TQQs because, Sharif, we can use pre-market stop orders here. So we will use that with the TQQs. We have one set up to get out on the top side, and I also have one to get shorter as well. So we'll see here if it does break lower. That's it. Yeah, everything.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I have an offer out to get short in, it's in Plug Power, but I never trade a name like that without having a stop to protect me.
Right,
so
exactly.
Before I even got into position, I put the stop in case it breaks a key high, and then I could get into position. Because in the pre-market especially, and we talk about this all the time, like it's just, people trade with area stops all the time, but I think in the pre-market, you want to make sure you get your out and have your out, and a stop order can definitely help you with that trade. I mean, post-market, if you're trading, I don't think you trade without it.
I got stopped on something yesterday in the pre-market. It was Palantir, I think it was, or something like that. So anyways.
Palantir.
We are getting ready to have a bias to the short. So that's basically what we're trying to do here. If we break, I said, just so everybody knows, this is not going to be a trade for a long time. Obviously, this number came out and spiked it. So if the market turns green, we're out. So that's pretty close right now. The NASDAQ right now down 0.15. I wrote it in the sticky note. I'm trying to get it out, but here I am talking. So watch out for this name to break a little bit higher, and then we'll get out on a break into Greensville from yesterday.
All right, a few people mentioning the watch list. It's a provider thing. We apologize. There was a bit of a delay, but it appears it has arrived. So all is well as far as the watch list is concerned. Maybe if I give them a shout out, it'll work better.
Yeah.
Come on, Mailer Light.
Together.
Anyway, just to recap, here's what happened yesterday. If you missed it, yeah, it was a green day overall, but it was a little bit of a choppy session overall. Here's how we're heading into Thursday right now anyways. That has reversed after this initial jobless claims data, but 0.31 initially, 0.17 for the S&P, 0.25%. The Russell, if you remember, just monstrous over the past few days anyways. Back to the upside here with some inflation pointing in the right direction. Yep, we get Barr, we get Waller, we get a whole bunch of Fed speakers, Williams coming through as well. Waller going to be later on, 10:30 Eastern. We'll get a ton of comments coming from Fed officials today. Yeah, there's definitely not a lack of things to talk about this morning. Cisco downside, as we saw there. Pan W downside as well. Alibaba, there's a lot to consider. Macy's, obviously, Walmart, retail earnings continuing here.
Something tells me these Fed speakers are going to say, oh, it's just one print. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. And we're going to hear something like that from a bunch of them. Yeah, a lot to talk about today. Alibaba really was my focus because it single-handedly brought down the Chinese ADRs down over 8%. They're really blaming the American embargo on chips to China, specifically GPUs for AI, for the postponement of the spinoff of their cloud division. They can't build out the infrastructure as quickly as they would like. That was one of the things they were really focusing on. They wanted to compete with Amazon. They want to compete with Azure, and that's going to have to go on the back burner for now, Brendo.
Yeah, so we'll touch on that. We'll touch on Walmart, obviously, Macy's as well. Here's Cisco, as we saw when we came on there, trying to get back higher right now, but a monstrous gap here to the tune of 9.6% right now for Cisco.
So I'm going to get to this question. We got to thank you very much, Christy, for the super chat. I definitely will answer this regardless, but I still do not understand how Neil is placing stops before he places his orders. Please help me with this. So at Day Trade the World, which is the prop floor that we trade on, we have multiple stop orders. We've got a basic script order, which just condition A hits, and then it fires an order out there. That's what most people use. Now, we also have direct edge is a gateway, and we have a stop which sits on their server side. That one we can't use in the pre and post market. And then there's another stop order, which is it allows you to cover a percentage of your position size as a condition. Now the best thing about this one, you can place it as a script order before you get in. So let's say, I mean, in the example, literally what I'm doing here is if I want to go short and plug into the pop, and I want to have a stop at the previous close, I can throw a stop order saying, cover 100% of my position if it breaks 436, right? So I put that in. But if I never take a position, there's nothing to cover. So it'll fire, but there's no order to flatten my position in that situation. So I can put that conditional order out there before I'm even in the position. And if I never take the position and the conditions met, well, there's no position for it to flatten. I find it a useful tool at Day Trade the World. It allows me to know, hey, I want to trade off this level and I want to have a stop here. But maybe the conditions will change by the time it gets there, and I don't want that short position on. But if in the moment it spikes up, I want the cover of having that order out before I get into position. So every broker is obviously going to be different. What we have available at Day Trade the World, it's possible you don't have some kind of a hotkey or an order just like that. But I wanted to make sure we answered that. Appreciate the super chat there, Christy. On to Cisco. All puns aside and all that. Thong song and yada yada yada, can't handle whatever. At the end of the day, like this is actually it's pretty nasty when you look at the daily chart on Cisco how this gave back, because it was already pulling back on it going into the earnings, and you've given up half the year. I mean, essentially the gains from the last half of this year pretty much all got put back in the tank. On that move overnight. Like you can see, we pulled right back into this 46 level. Now, we bounced off of that level. I think levels matter more when you trade them intramarket. So when you're gonna have a guidance which is not necessarily growth-wise what people are looking for here, as the Qs have been backing off those highs. Look, we got to a huge level on the Qs and backed off yesterday. You know, like Microsoft facing a triple top up there. You can name after name. And then Cisco with any sign of disappointment when it was already showing signs of weakness on the chart. Pullback, lower high, rejecting the 50 period over and over and over again going into earnings. Now you break down. I think this 46 is where you Alamo this stock. If it doesn't hold on to 46, that's the big level on the daily. You can put 45 as a bit of a wick in there as well, but it's that general area that you already saw it bounce in the aftermarket. Can it bounce there again today? If for some reason it gets back to the 200 period moving average, that'd be a fade all day for me. I'm just not sure it has any chance to recover all the way up past $50.
All right. Yeah, I think Cisco definitely has to be on everybody's watch. It's only a $50 stock, right? So it's pretty cheap. And you guys know if it's going to be on the sticky note, then that's going to be something that I'm going to look at. So sometimes we only trade the names that are on here, and it's on here right now. We have the TQQs. It's now out. Go over at Trader TV, Sean. There it is, Cisco 46 long. I mean, I just put the same reasons there. You know, we like I said, we're just turning into a chart reader. It's going to come back down into 46 bucks. If it hits that, it's worth the long, and then you can hold it. That bottom wick is 45. You want to give this thing $1. I mean, I think if it hits 46, then you're playing for it to get back to 47. So I think that there's some love there. And then if you really take down 45, then all of a sudden you're going to be down like 15%. I don't know what that's going to be like. So we'll have to see how dramatic this move is. But I think this is a 46 long all day, every day. And I'm not looking short. I'm only looking long on Cisco for now.
All right, let's touch on some retail earnings here to kick things off. I wanted to mention Walmart is 6%, but Macy's really the only one that might be a little bit better off today. 6% for Walmart, back to 155, 156. You have the details there for Macy's with, I mean, a little bit better anyway.
Yeah, look, the story here was interesting because it was a little different than some of these other retailers. They're going to open up 30 smaller stores in these strip mall style plazas or whatever you want to call them. That's an expansion that we're really not seeing from any other retailer. In fact, you're getting Target closing stores because of shrinkage and retail theft, organized retail theft. We've heard a lot about that. It's also another interesting aspect of the story is that the majority of their revenue, the profits that they're making is really not from the Macy's store specifically. It's from some of their offshoots, the Bloomingdale's and Blue Mercury, which is its beauty chain. The Bloomingdale's being the high end where they sell some of the designer stuff. That's where they're making the margin. So it was an interesting story here, not something that I expected in a high rate environment.
Yeah, still a short percentage on this one as well, which is typically what is highlighted around these times. But it's been a decent couple of days here, at least, guys, for Macy's.
Yeah, I mean, Macy's 11.6% is the short float, which I want to say is about half what it was in the meme craze, but still pretty solid. And that's why you get, when Macy's reports, 10, 15% type of moves in there. I do think, it's already given you over 10% if you trade the pre-market. So the range is going to be wide here. You always temper expectations, because when you're trading a $13 stock, a lot of times you can get yourself in that headspace of, it's around the same price as something like a Ford. It might move 10, 20 cents at a time. You got to get that crap out of your head when you're trading, or your mind when you're trading Macy's, because I'm looking above this 13 level. Let's go to the daily chart. That's a little bit cleaner. Look, the 13 level is an obvious one. Why doing 15 to 13? You just triple bottomed here on the daily to break out this 13. So if it's holding above $13, I want that long. You just got to understand that you can be long 13.20 or 13.30, and usually I wouldn't want to give 30 to 40 cents on a $13 stock. It's just not the way you'd play. But Macy's is different. Macy's, if it bounces off 13, can easily get back and above to a $14 level intraday and show you 10, 12, 15% to the upside. Very much in the pocket here. Talk catalyst all we want here. Just the only thing of caution why I'm looking for this gap to potentially come all the way back in and retest yesterday's close is how it ran going into the earnings. It would be a little different in terms of chasing the move if we hadn't just gone dollar, and then another breakout. So you had back-to-back explosive days going into this where you probably had some shorts covering. That's why I'd look for there to be some profit taking first and not want to be jumping all over this to the long side until it shows me a bid. Now, whether that's exactly at 13, whether that's around previous close, 1280, I think you just got to let it get into that area, look for a sign of strength, high or low off that range, and then I would want to engage into a long. I don't really have any short ideas for Macy's. I think it would have to get to like past $15. So I don't really have any short ideas unless it were to get up there.
Yeah. I think there's a chance it gets up there. So I would wait for that short for near 15 would be my call there. I like 14 on the break higher as well if you're looking long. Unfortunately, I just called up Target here. This chart is not participating that well because we have these downside ticks here. But we never got through that 132 yesterday. Now you're down to 127 and going the other way on where Walmart, we're going to talk about that in a couple seconds as well. But Target making the move down. It was a good stock there. Oh, there we go. Now it looks here. You know what? Forget this. I'm just going to call up this chart here. Let's just close that and use e-signal for a second. So there it is right here. So there's the 131. This is just a 20-minute chart. You can see Target obviously had that nice relief rally yesterday as they were just playing catch up. There's Costco's already gone. TJX is already gone. Walmart, we talked about that despite their earnings report today. So, you have a little level right here of 129. So that's what I was going to talk about, was a potential pop in Target if we do get some relief rally in Walmart back up to the upside. So I think we could probably short this name in and around 129 for Target into 130. So I would look short in TGT today. Only 232,000 shares, which is, I said only, but I think I kind of meant the other way around. That's not bad on day two. I don't see, obviously it's a New York name, so there is an opportunity for it to be on here early. I don't see Target on here, so I don't even see Walmart, so there's really no interest as much as I would have thought off the open. So I like that, right? Not much interest on a day two play that rallied yesterday 20% or whatever Target rallied, or maybe not that much at the end of the day. But Nice move to the upside there yesterday. I think Target's a fade back. So watch Macy's, watch some of these other names that came through, watch XRT, some of the retail aspects there, ETFs and so on and so forth. I think Target is a good opportunity to short it if it pops back into and near that 129, 130 area.
All right, I was mentioning this earlier. This is the 10-year currently. This is a daily chart, but right back to essentially where we started yesterday on the bounce. So giving that all back. 30-year looking very similar at this point, so yields, again, trying to help. I mean, these initial jobless claim numbers seem to be helping the market overall back to the upside. We finally got, if I go to a daily chart here, we finally got a red candle on NVIDIA's daily chart yesterday. It is negative again today, 0.7 right now. Susquehanna with a price target increase this morning, 625 on a positive note. I mean, Microsoft, there was a price target increase as well. Talking about AI, of course, it seems to be the theme around here. But NVIDIA, again, trying to hold on to, the lows, at least, from yesterday.
Well, there was an event yesterday, Brendo, the Microsoft Ignite event, and Jensen Huang featured there where he made several statements. The first of which really caught my attention, was AI is going to be bigger than the internet. It's going to be bigger than mobile. It's going to be bigger than the PC expansion. And then The Verge, kind of backing him up on that, reporting later on that NVIDIA has made $6 billion in pure profit this year off its GPUs. In another headline, looking at upgrading their H200 processor to compete with their H100. So lots of news from NVIDIA. We touched 500 yesterday and we rejected it, so good luck.
It's going to be bigger than fire, even. Anyways, tech guys trying to hold here.
Well, I mean, literally any science fiction novel written in the last 100 years that's even touched on the topic will suggest to you that, of course, AI is bigger than all of those things eventually at some point, right? Like, it's like we're literally creating something smarter than ourselves. What could possibly not be bigger than that and scarier? But NVIDIA, let's focus on NVIDIA here. Did it really close? It did close at 488.88. I thought maybe I was going to pull up my trade ideas for the daily chart. And for a split second, I'm like, oh, is that really where it closed? That's kind of cool. But 488.88, that's close enough to look what happened when we got to the top on NVIDIA. I mean, I saw there was one down day that could be a distinction without a difference on this gigantic march from 400 to 500. It doesn't really matter. We got from bottom to top on NVIDIA again.
Yep.
And once you back off to 500, like, you tell me, I mean, when you get to the top of the channel and then you show a red day, like, I'm not saying it's going back into 400, but the path to least resistance on this stock and a few others has been, okay, when it starts going up after 400, go long, and when it starts going down after 500, look short. Now today, that would mean look at, well, for me at least, the afternoon or the late morning resistance at about 93, which was support the day before. It could go at least $8 from where it is here and still be in the pocket for me to favor the short. Like, it needs to be retested. Like, I need to be convinced that we're going back up to that high to think about waiting for a 500. So if we get up $5 to $8, I think that's where the roll looks like to me on NVIDIA. In terms of big support levels, I don't have anything to like the 70. It's like 70 down here, or actually 65. Check that. It's not even 70. And then the other chip name that's worth watching, going in literally the other direction and again breaking highs, is Intel. We'll get to that one. Just completely different names. This was strong for 2 days in a row. It's continued to go strong. It is now breaking out above this channel on the daily, which is fantastic because I just sold some, obviously. But it's breaking out this channel on the daily. Once it gets past 41.5, it could really explode. But this is a very key day for Intel. The trend has been very, very clean to the top of this channel. It's one of the only things I've seen that is still breaking out when the NASDAQ backed off in terms of big tech. So this is a very key day for it here today.
Yeah, look, we've been talking about shorting for a while. I want to shout out to Trader Luke there for sending this yesterday. Yesterday was a good day indeed there, Fabian, for trading. Yesterday was an amazing day. We'll see if we can repeat it again today, so thank you so much for that one. And I was just looking at my notes, what's up to Bill Ackman. This year's performance, last year I think it was plus 150, 192, right there, 5-year performance on Bill Ackman. That's not what I want to show. Follow me for all this kind of stuff. All right, so I wanted to show this. Yeah, look, these are all short ticks, right? Shout out to D's in the chat. Anything purple or shorts, right? And so we've been shorting this name for a long time. Yesterday, 120s, or I don't know if this is 2 days ago. What day was this? Anyways, short. We've been wanting to short AMD for a long time, and we've done exactly that. So we're just going to keep the train rolling here and keep shorting AMD. We've been looking at NVIDIA. We should have shorted it yesterday, obviously at 500. Like I said, that's probably the most the easiest trade. Oh, there's the 120. Yeah, so it was yesterday. Like, what's easier, 500 or 120? It's the same thing. Both these levels came into play, both pretty key. We shorted this, and there's the downside move. So I'm going to look for the same type of thing right now at 118. So we'll look at 118 right now for the short of AMD. So something to look at. That's on my radar right now. The market's not doing what I thought. I mean, this is like a stair step. So it looks like it does not want to fall back down. So as we continue to watch out for our Qs trade, we have it a little bit higher. Oops, didn't even change the chart. We have it a little bit higher than 43. But yeah, looking to get out pretty soon here if this continues to go higher. So let's wait to see. I just was not. I mean, I even put on the sticky note today as well. And again, like, you know, I don't have a problem, you know, sticking my neck out a little bit here. I got to change this guy around actually right now. This is the gritty again, but that's not what I'm showing. It was right here that we're short bias today. So it doesn't look like it's going to be right now, but we were short bias, and it looks like the market's coming back up to the upside. So we'll stick to that for now, but we're not going to be stubborn. If this keeps on going upside, then we will get out, as the market rate here is very, very close, as we said, to turning positive. So I'm still going to flip this guy around and be a bear, and that's going to be my call until we see where this market opens up at.
All right, let's get some analyst moves for you this morning, upgrades and downgrades. Adara has that over at the screen.
Intel's an upgrade from Mizuho. They raised the price target on this one from 37 to 50. Definitely keep an eye out. We also have Catalent with an upgrade from Robert W. Baird, and then Deutsche Bank upgrading both DoorDash and Goodyear. Keep an eye on all of those names. In terms of downgrades, we have a recent earnings move with Target up a significant amount yesterday. Now they're trading a little bit down after a downgrade from TD Cowen. We also have Plug Power with a massive downgrade from Citigroup. The price target here was changed from $12 to 5.5. Vail with a downgrade from Deutsche Bank, and SIBO with a downgrade from Argus. Keep an eye on those names, guys.
Yeah, and one of those names on that list, we were just talking about how Intel was still breaking out, and some things were pulling back, while DoorDash was not pulling back and has not been pulling back since they reported breakout again off some previous highs. So it's kind of like, show you right here, like 92.5, another breakout. Has yet to consolidate above this break or pull back off this break, which a lot of times you'll see that. So this gap here went to this high, pulled right back in, held that support area, and then made the next breakout. If you follow that kind of a pattern, you know, if it continues today, the $100 level would come into play. And if it comes down from 100, you look for a consolidation, support down at 93, implied by, 92.5 to 93, implied by where this had resistance previously. So DoorDash is certainly on the radar. The issue with Dash is, you know, not a lot of pre-market volume in here. So as much as you look at upgrades and downgrades, and sometimes it'll make you come across a chart that looks good, would like to see a little bit more volume in this one. Maybe if the market were able to dip back in and you could prove that support again down around 92.5, 93, like those would be some conditions to get into it. But if it just starts flying at 9:30, this would not be one I would just jump into because the volume a little bit lacking. But still, you gotta respect the fact that it's still breaking out. So if we go green today, it's the kind of thing, if it starts trending, should be on the radar.
Yeah, I want to look at Intel again. I mean, it's up to $41. It's positive here against a negative market. I mean, a great upgrade. And honestly, I don't have a lot of shares, but I'm long down here like 27, 28 bucks. And it's been a good ride to the upside. I don't have enough to like get out of anything now, but this is not a bad spot at 41. Let's just see where it continues to go upside, man. We were talking about Intel a couple weeks ago with some of our guests. Huge move to the upside. They didn't have a great Q, but then did they? Nice move right back up to the upside. This reminds me exactly of what AMD was doing, and I was all over the short of AMD. So let's just wait to see what happens here. I feel like there is going to be a pretty good short coming through, and I'm looking at it right here, $45. I'm just going to hold, because every time I buy or sell something in my long-term portfolio, I always regret it. So not buy, sell. So I'm just going to stay net long this name. Like I said, it was just my first time ever getting into it. So we'll see what happens here with Intel. I still like the name, like the upgrade, like the space. I mean, I feel like that's what you want to do. You want to buy the best companies in the best spaces. And Intel's trying to, fix everything up there, get into that PC market, which is supposed to be pretty strong. So look at the dollar right now. The dollar is falling apart. So that's what's definitely helping this rally in the market right now as we speak. So there's almost, you could see, like, there's a little bit of a, back and forth, another back and forth there, another back and forth there. I mean, it's almost exactly what this market looks like, right? There it is right there, trying to decide what it wants to do. Then there's the move down. So it's following this dollar. So I'm going to be definitely watching the DXY here today. We don't have it chartable, so I'm just going to watch it on Yahoo Finance. It is a move to the downside right now on the dollar. So just watch out for that. That's good for tech stocks. So if the dollar continues to fall, you could get this NASDAQ into, I don't think rally mode, but definitely something that's helping support some of these bids.
Yeah, back to positive across the board here. Let's get into everything else you need to know as we head towards 9 o'clock. Sharif is going to kick things off with a look at the market.
45.19, Brendo. That's where we closed off yesterday. 45.22. That's the overnight high, with the overnight low being 45.07. I say look for support if we trend down. Obviously, at that 100-point level at 4,500. If we continue to make our move up, this is what I talked about yesterday. This crest over here from September 14th, 45.60. Look at that area for resistance.
All right, if you haven't done so yet, make sure you grab that. It's absolutely free, so why not? Use a QR code or go to watchlist.tradertv.live, enter your email address, and then it comes right to your inbox every single day. And yes, it was a little bit late today. We apologize. Let's talk some Alibaba. You saw a little bit of a preview there. Some, I guess cautionary but concerning comments coming out of their earnings report, and specifically the conference call last night. Saying they're specifically going to develop cloud businesses based on AI computing demand, not necessarily going above and beyond that at this point. These new export rules from the US going to possibly come into effect, hurting them downside as well. They're going to shelve this spin-off, as we were saying when we came on, for the time being as well. So a lot of question marks here from Baba.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what they do, whether they try to go local with Huawei's new GPUs. We'll have to wait and see about that. But there's another story here, too. They are going to pay a dividend. In fact, they're going to start with the first ever dividend going to be paid out December 21st, 2023. They're going to give about $2.5 billion worth, obviously, to be distributed equitably amongst shareholders. Earnings were okay. They came in a little bit below expectations, about 27.7 billion won. The street was looking for 29.7. Revenue, though, was up 9% year over year. So it looks like a margin story here, Ben.
Yeah, right back to October lows this morning, down 8% here.
October lows, you can also go back to May. Like May, it bottomed out at $78. I think this is the one we're concerned with. I mean, look, it's the same general area, so that's what you're concerned with here. The fact that they pull back, this was such a big deal that they were going to spin off and create extra value for shareholders into 6 different divisions. Very clearly, their cloud was one of the most exciting ones, if not the most exciting one. And when that gets pulled back, it's not necessarily a good thing. Now, it wasn't gigantic misses across the board, but let's respect the fact that this is something which is a disappointment, I think, to a lot of people. So again, in that vein, anything can happen. It's already bounced off that support level. So when you're tight to 79, you saw the daily chart, like that's basically sitting on support. Looking at 81.70, these previous lows into kind of that lowest close level, which was 82.30-ish. So you get that price area. That's where I want to be shorting a pop. I don't think. Like, as far as shorting the bottoms down here, you saw the daily chart. I don't really like a 79 short when you go back to May and you got that 78 level. I think you got to be very confident in scalp levels if you want to play down there, because it's going to be a tighter range. But if you want the moves, it'll be, I think, past like $1, I'd be looking for that 82 area would be the midpoint if we do get some kind of a relief rally in Alibaba. Bit of a disappointment there. The other thing I'm looking at, which is a bit of a sympathy play, Pinduoduo, which had been going gangbusters, well, that sort of stands out above that resistance at 112 on PDD. You gap above, well, you had a strong day yesterday gapping and actually holding for the most part, above that level, closing closing at that 115 area, just slightly underneath it. Now you've given the entire move back, and you're right underneath that 112. So if this can't get past 112, it's setting up a head and shoulders. And the last time, when the stock does that, a lot of times you can set yourself up for a pullback into previous resistance. That sits at about 105 on PDD. So I'm overall bearish on both those names. All this said, anything bad in China means you're one step closer to NEO at $7. So until it happens, I'm still waiting for that $7 bid.
Yeah, that NEO. Is that to go long or or try to do that?
Well, I'll go long first.
Right. Okay.
I'll go long
Just
first.
to let people know because
I always go.
Might happen.
I always go long first off a level like that. Its 52-week low on NEO is actually 700, not 705, not 701.
760 though, 10%.
I thought it was okay. Never mind.
Yeah.
I thought it was under 50. Okay, fine. It's probably not going to happen today.
70. Well, might. No.
When it does, well, if it happens today, that's not good at all.
Yeah.
But if it ever gets there, same old.
I wanted to just say that, my disdain for Chinese names continues. I mean, I talk about this pretty much every single day. And I own Alibaba, so I don't know what to tell everybody other than dollar cost average. No, I mean, you're down here to $80. Look, the reason why you buy this name, we talked about all the spin-offs. Well, they've just canceled all of them, so they're not right here. The company also announced strategic decisions, including the halting of the spin-off of its cloud intelligence group. Like, that's, when you're spinning something off, you're going to be adding value to the stock. It's the exact same reason why I own Amazon and Google and all these Meta and all this stuff. Like, I want them to get spun off. Like, you want the FTC to come in and tell you that Google needs to separate YouTube? Okay, then let's get some YouTube stock in the old portfolio as well then. I mean, right down here, this $78, that looks like a buy to me. They've just initiated a dividend. I think you want to let it settle down. You never go in and buy something on the very first day, as all of us know. So we're going to wait a couple days, see if this can settle. But the bottom's pretty low, guys. I mean, obviously we have COVID bottoms and everything like that, but Disney got down there $80 and bounced. So why, and not comparing the two names, but just Square, all these names that have issues, did retest some of the bottoms, and some of them are still there, like PayPal, like a Square, like all these names. So you could have some more downside pressure. I mean, just check a lot of these fintech names. There was that, I forget what their fintech wing is called. But again, if they're not going to spin that off, there's a lot of problems here under the hood for Alibaba. And I just think that they're trying to restructure. So you got to give them the benefit of the doubt. And if down 8% is that, then you want to go in there and pick it up. Right now it's too bad about our TQQ position because we talked about that 43 level, and again, not being patient enough, waiting for that 43. Come over here, Fabian, quickly. Not waiting for that. It doesn't matter. We've averaged it in. We're back to flat, obviously, on this call, and we were going to get out. We talked about if it broke a little bit higher than this level. That's exactly where it went to. So for me, we should be more short. Our total Q short should be somewhere around 75s or so, and then we would be nicely in the money. But we're going to wait for a pullback. We have VWAP here at 80s, so we'll take a piece out if it gets down to 80, which would be a win, and then we'll wait for a pullback in as the buy is short, starting to pay off here, guys.
All right, we'll go to retail here. A few things to consider as far as earnings. Just to rewind the clock, if you missed it yesterday. Target, first of all, downside a little bit here this morning, but just monstrous yesterday off a better than expected report. There are a few analyst moves this morning on TGT. TD Cowen with a downgrade. Telsey Advisors as well, maintaining their outperform on Target. So a little bit of relative weakness, maybe some profit taking for TGT. Macy's, there's Walmart. Across the board, we touched on Macy's already. Walmart downside here.
Yeah, the story with Walmart was interesting because you expected a similar report with respect to guidance for Walmart, but that wasn't the case. They actually guided slightly lower than expected forecast as we enter that critical holiday season. The big box retailer was cautious with its outlook as it saw a slowdown in consumer spending towards the end of October, and they're not really sure why that happened. Earnings was good, $453 million. Compare that to last year when they had a loss of $1.8 billion, but it should be be noted, there was a big opioid payout that they had to make because of the class action lawsuit. So the comp a little skewed there. Revenue also up 160 billion. Compare that to last year on the quarter of 152. Some positive notes here, Brendo. E-commerce continues to grow 24%. Revenue for their ad business grew as well, 26%. Walmart Plus, that's the Amazon competitor.
Yeah.
Let's see how they do.
Yeah, Macy's, as we mentioned, if you're just joining a little bit late here, guidance very, very slightly to the upside. Top end of the prior range even, so 10% here with that short float consideration, guys.
Yeah, that 11.6% short float on Macy's. It's a decent one. I'll get to that one second, but I wanted to just quickly look. Walmart, if you look at Walmart, it hasn't on the daily chart. It kind of informs what to almost do here, because it might have already made a bounce off the 200 period moving average. Let's get that out of the way. It's entirely possible that the bounce off this level has happened, but you can see this. The 200 simple on the daily chart sits at 154. I feel like that's where you'd want to dip by. It might have already given it to you down here, 155.5. So maybe there's two ways to look at this. Either it gets all the way back down in there, and then you look for the long off that level on the daily, or maybe you can start trending off that with higher low at the open, and then try to go back into the upside. That said, you know how I feel, generally speaking, about gaps to the downside. When you don't have, and it's not about how good or bad the quarter is. Sometimes it's about where the stock is coming from. That is a major rejection of the top. I can expect relief rally sometimes in that situation, but you look back to previous big support levels, one of which already turned at 160.5. If that gets taken out, I look at that 163. Macy's is the one with the squeeze potential. That's already up. Forgive me, that $13 level. These are dark pool wicks. You never had it. You couldn't actually got that. If those were real, that was right in the target zone for the dip buy on Macy's. I'm not going to chase this move to the upside. But as long as it's above 13 and not at 15, I am looking for that long. We need to be over 15 for any kind of a short there. Macy's, good breakout on the daily, triple bottom, and it's taking out that consolidation. So at least until it gets past 15, I want to be looking for the long first.
We're almost, I'm bidding 81s on that TQ position. It's at 82. Hopefully that comes back in a little bit here for that short. Okay, so unfortunately, like I said, I'm going to have to pull down another chart here. I was just looking at Fisker. Fisker not moving. Apparently there was some news there. Thank you to someone in the chat. There it is, Darwin. Okay, so just, again, this target trade. I think this is a great short. You come out today, Walmart's downside. Target already had this monster rally from 111 up there to 130 yesterday. Was a good report, obviously. I just think it was just making up some of the difference. Target's been beat up. Its 52-week high is like 181. I think its all-time high is like 280, something like that. So being down there at $100, I just feel that it was just, the report wasn't bad. They guided a little bit forward there for the holiday sale and everything, but I just think that this 130 right there that we kept on bouncing off of, actually that's 129, sorry, that's where you start it. I just feel that this little level right there, we held yesterday, well then now today we just cut through it like no problem. So didn't even come back up to it. So if Walmart can start going back up, I like the fade here on TGT, as if the TQs just bounced again off that level for us. So there it is. We've just bounced off my bid now twice. So there, I'm bidding 81s right here at the 200 period. We just got to bounce off. So this market now holding VWAP. So obviously that's what's happening right now on the TQs. So I'm short right here right now. If you don't like the trade, you can get out. I mean, maybe a reload situation, but I never like when it comes back in, test these levels. Like that's 80, like it went to 80, I guess that's 82. I'm bidding 81, so we didn't get it. But once it hits the 200 and the VWAP and then can bounce back up, we probably are in line to test another high there. So let's watch out. I may put some more shares to get short if it does come in there, but now we're trying to get back out. So if we come back, we're in the money now. We talked about short bias. We turned the bull into a bear there. Without Randy here today, you're gonna just have to live with that. And let's see what happens now with the TQQs and the short bias.
All right, market chopping around here. Cisco running out of steam. It would appear back to the upside as well, but still trying to bounce here, coming off this huge gap to the downside. So basically these two paragraphs here in this note anyways explaining the problem here. One is the second quarter revenue guide. Downside in a big way, 12.6 billion to 12.8 versus 14 expected there. They also cut their full year 2024 revenue expectations. So all about the guidance. I just saw this one corner of my eye here again. 11.7. Macy's trying to go here.
Yeah, the story here was interesting because they kind of blamed their own previous success on the weakness of Q3. Here's what they say. During the quarter, new product orders slowed down mainly because clients are busy installing and implementing products after strong delivery in the 3 previous quarters. You'll know that they were obviously involved in the AI expansion with respect to cloud. Income, look, they beat 3.64 billion versus a 2.67 from a year ago. Revenue up 7.6%, but like Brendo said, it was really the guide here, and that's why I sold up.
Yeah, as I mentioned, kind of running out of steam a little bit here in pre-market trading. Not a huge range so far, but teetering here at that low right now.
Teetering is a very good word for Cisco, which is going to open up short sell restricted. So I don't think I said that explicitly, but you know, if it's down 10% from the previous close, it's going to be short sell restricted. That means you cannot hit the bid to enter a short position unless the last tick is an uptick. It's the uptick rule, which was across the board when I started trading, and you know, now only comes into effect on the day a stock is down 10 and then the day after. So for the next 2 days, Cisco, presuming that it opens 10% down, which it looks like it will at this point, is going to be SSR. That sets it up for a name like this, heavily watched, good volume, you know, 2 million in volume. I think about an SSR bounce. And when you look at the levels, look again, this is the May bottom. It's actually 45 on a wick and then 46 at support. So we get down there, I'm looking SSR bounce. The ideal setup for that play would be getting to 46, breaking the level to the downside, showing you something underneath like 50, you know, like 45.80 or 45.90, something along those lines, reclaiming 46, punch long 46, stop at the bottom, and then look for that relief rally to the upside. That's the preferred way to execute that kind of a trade. So that's what I would look for on Cisco. And then after that, if you know, I'd try it at 46, I'd probably try it at 45 as well. If it doesn't work beneath 45, I think a lot of things have gone wrong at that moment. On the daily, if you look at where you could find resistance, that's one too far, where you could find some resistance back in, I just think of the 200 period and that $50 level. So that's where it would have to be. To set up for an obvious short for me, it would have to be up there. And it would still be down significantly if it got, we closed at 53. So it's down significantly even if it gets back into the 50s. But that's where I would be comfortable looking for the short trade. You have that previous support and the 200 period to work off of. So, you know, Cisco, it's going to have to set up. It's not trading at a price that I'd want to get in yet.
Like, this Taylor Swift craze is for real. We're going to talk about Pan W in a couple minutes.
Can she just please start coming to the games again?
She is. She's coming this week. Marissa's already bet on Kansas City. Okay, so this was yesterday about Pan W. I know that's still to come, but yesterday we talked about buying that, and I want to say shout out to that's Ozan. Shout out to Ozan. He's probably in the chat right now. I said you could go ahead and buy Pan W in the aftermarket yesterday, so we'll talk about that very, very soon. Shout out to you, Ozan, right now. But look, if you're looking for trades, it's right here. It's on the sticky note. It's Cisco. It's long 46. Back to those May bottoms. I think it's worth a look if it gets down to there. Our TQQ is almost ready to print. Well, give me those 81s. Let's go. We are bidding there at 81, but as you can see, we still did not get the fill. So it has to probably go through us in order to get this fill. And there it is right there. Sound the alarm as the short is printing right now in the market. So stick with me. There it is, short bias early. Let's see if it does work out, though, on that one. But hey, look, it's a simple trade, man. Cisco down to 46. Don't overthink it. Hopefully it gets down there, and if it does, then we'll be there, open arms, waiting to get some in on Cisco. But for right now, the money's coming in a little bit here on the TQs. Again, we're like 5 cents. Who cares? Let's just see if it works. Right now, we have our target to get out. We could obviously rally off the open. That's been sort of the MO here. We get big moves up or big moves down, figure out some sort of a range and play that. So that's why we're trying to get some more out here. I am also bidding down here at 75. That was the high before we broke it, right? So we'll bid down there, see if we can get something out. And then after that, we'll wait for a retracement back to post-apocalyptic number time at 8:30. So we'll wait to see I guess, not post. We'll wait to see if that can come back into like that 42.60, and then we'll just go from there. So Yeah, so far so good here. Who knows where it's going to go, but we finally get that print.
Roblox, next up here, back to the upside ever so slightly this morning, but it has been quite the few days here since earnings. That was the earnings day, huge move. Sharif and I were just commenting on the fact that it's a little bit tardy here, but there's a ton of analyst moves on RBLX this morning, including Goldman maintaining a sell on Roblox, raising their price target though to $26. JP Morgan, another one here. There's a couple positive ones as well.
Yeah, JP Morgan. Also another price target upgrade, Brendo, from 33 to 37. You had Piper Sandler raising their target to 52 from 50. Canaccord Genuity getting in on the action, raising it to 50 from 48. It really was a story of bookings, Brendo, here. They're forecasting 4.03 billion in bookings for the year of 2024. That's higher than what analysts were looking for. They were just looking for sub 4 billion there, 3.98 billion. So a couple of days to digest the numbers and pull the trigger.
This, of course, coming off their investor day yesterday. Lots of highlights came from that. One was around the PlayStations, 15 million downloads they announced on their PlayStation. They came out with revised guidance to the upside during that as well. So analysts playing a little bit of catch up here for RBLX.
Yeah, I think that investor day gave you confirmation of where to wait for on Roblox. Like it got all the way up to 41, like 80 something. You look at this, when it exploded, 42 was resistance, and then when you have a liquidity vacuum during the event, the move goes all the way up to that same high. So, you know, patience would tell you without a bigger catalyst, that's the key level to trade off of at 42. And if there's any chance to buy, buy bottoms like 37.5, looks pretty solid. There's a semi-support breakdown underneath 39, which I suppose is setting up. That's the sort of thing that I would reserve for, the market is resolving lower if I'm going to trade in the middle. Like to take a trade short in the middle here when it's been support the last 2 days, I'd need things falling apart. So, Roblox 42, that's what I actually was looking at in case we were, running green today. Would have been a breakout off of that level. But, given what things look like, I think you look at that 42 as resistance. It was setting up that if we just come right back and sort of shrugged everything off from yesterday on that pullback, then I think that 42 breakout would have looked good. Instead, I looked the other way at that level.
All right, we were just talking with Steph, and I told her I'm looking short. She wasn't sure about it. I mean, I'm still not sure about it, but there's another print for us on the short there for the NASDAQ. So we're in the money, 20 or 30 handles here if you're trading the actual contract, but we're going to wait to see what happens here to the downside for the TQs, and there it goes right there. So we're still here, so no worries on that one. The Roblox for me is only a look long. All these upgrades are real nice. We're going to look over here at a 20-minute chart. The long is down here at 37, so if there's any chance that we get down to there, again, I'm thinking short today, so I need to wait to get this name. So 37.50 would be great. Roblox gets my money every month, so let's see if we can make a little bit of that back here if we can buy this at 37.50 and change for RBLX. My eyes are still on this futures position, so we'll continue to watch out for this one here. As we're below where we started the trade, so it's all good, man. All these averages in, definitely coming through right now. Let's see where we can go. We just talked about trying to get some out in the 60s here. It's a nice move downside for the futures.
All right, we'll touch on PanW here. This group has been pretty impressive over the past couple of weeks. We had a bit of a pullback, but it was right back to highs yesterday before this report, or 2 days ago before this report. Looks like it's a guidance issue here, possibly, and it's still within range, as you were saying,
yeah.
But maybe downside ever so slightly. Everything else, though, positive for Palo Alto.
Yeah, the interesting story here, the CEO, Nikesh Arora, saying he sees an unprecedented level of attacks, which is fueling strong demand for their cybersecurity platform, Brendo. With respect to revenue, they beat 1.88 billion. Revenue was up 20% year over year. Earnings beat as well. EPS came in at 138 versus the estimate of 116. But like you said, it was the outlook here. So they see second quarter at 1.955 billion to 1.985. The street was looking for somewhere in between there, 1.97. So it looks like as if that lower end of the range kind of got them in a little bit of trouble. But it should be noted, Needham analyst Alex Henderson reiterating Palo Alto with a buy, maintaining a price target of 305. Same thing with Raymond James analyst Adam Tyndale with a price target of 260 from 250. So the analysts like it.
It's worth noting here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 25 minutes of red candles on crude oil so far this morning. So oil down 2.3% already, but yeah, there's Pan W, almost 7.
Good.
Yeah, so Pan W, like this entire space in this name in particular, like the multiples have always been, you know, they've always been high, but the growth has been there. That's how you get the story of when the guidance isn't good on a name like that, you're going to get a pullback. You were at highs anyways going into this and already looking a little bit frothy at that 266 top. Not saying that this is exactly where it has to go. You pop down into the 230 range with 225 being support on the daily. It was a double bottom. That's September. And then we've kind of referenced some of these bottoms before. That's going to be August and September. Bit of a double bottom there on Pan W. So does it drop $13 from here? I mean, I'm going to suggest no. If it does, it does, and like that's where I belong. But it is what it is. I don't think we dropped $13 on Pan W today. If it does, I think anything in that 25 to 26 range is a no-brainer. Unlikely, very, very unlikely. If it comes, all we got to do though is if it's going to be a relief rally, is stair step it to the upside. My one concern would be the 250 level. It's big psychologically on the daily. I took the daily away. I can just try to bring it back in here. But on the daily chart, that 250 was like lower high, like there's your bounce and then some resistance around 250. I think as you bounce off it again, if it gets up to that price, that looks like a good setup for a short around that price level. So it's diddling right in the middle of the range between that 25 and that 50 zone, but a little bit tighter to that 50 level. So I don't mind a trend into that 50, but that's the kind of thing that has to set up the opening range, has to set up in the first half an hour. I'd short 250 if it got up there. And then crowd, the sympathy name, would be CrowdStrike, I think, because this one has been price. In terms of movement, it's been much more impressive in terms of the run that it's recently had. So if you start to fall apart on Palo Alto, like this is a name which could, in sympathy, move more than it already has, right? So it's only 1.8% down. It just, in theory, has rejected a 200 breakout, but it's actually trading just above $200. But if Palo Alto starts screaming to the downside and you don't like the shorts where they are, I mean, it's like this is right at $200. Like you could actually, at the opening range, if the bid falls apart on Palo Alto, you could be short in front of like 99 or 98. And then you'd have a 200 as an out with a huge gap to be filled. And crowd's been very, very impressive, but this could pull back $20 and still be a ridiculously bullish looking chart.
Yeah, yesterday we had Chris Bretcher on, and he was talking about how Splunk got bought out, so same kind of thing. That's why I was looking at that crowd. If that comes down in a little bit, yeah, that's probably a good opportunity to buy CrowdStrike, I think, as well. Okay, so this is what we're talking about with Ozan there. We did a little Taylor Swift dance yesterday on this move down. I was talking about buying some of this dip on Pan W, and then Ozan obviously did it. And again, it has nothing to do with anything. I'm not sitting there reviewing the numbers. I'm just reading them to you, right? So when we saw this move come back in the pre-market, in the pre-market, well, that's now, but in the post-market yesterday, I was like, well, right into here. Like, are you going to get to 225? Like, if you bought some 230s, you could get out at 225. So we were talking about that in the aftermarket yesterday, the market recap show. And then, so shout out to you, Ozan. You put the trade on. I'm on the show. I don't do anything while we're live on the show. That would have been great. And I don't necessarily buy this. I'm already long this name, but I want to buy more. So that's a great trade. And again, that's why you need to make sure that you join me every single day. As traders stay late, and we have one of the best traders. Well, I don't know about the best, but we have a very, very well-known trader today coming through, JC Peretz from All-Star Charts, coming through tonight for the first time. So he's been on many different podcasts. You can Google this guy. We're very proud to have him on. So he'll be on tonight. Yet again, another big CMT coming through. This guy, Brian Shannon, Michael Noss, 30 under 30, Adrian Zadunchuk. Every time I see this guy's Twitter, Adrian's, This guy's flying first class everywhere. Shout out to Bitcoin, made this guy tons of money. We'll have him on very, very soon as well. But I really like Pan W. And there it is right now. Thank you, Ryan, for the talk there. There's the NASDAQ. It came right into all the levels that we talked about right there. So, yep, we're going to get more out here, and we just did exactly that. Came into that 68 level. We get that fill. We get 75. We get 80s. So all the way back into the downside. We'll hold on to some, see where this goes. But for right now, it's a nice little pullback in for the NASDAQ. I may get one more piece out here because we are now seconds away from open. And if you want to look quickly at the imbalances, I mean, there's still not that much here. There's an Alibaba with a sell, so that's going to impact that stock early. Walmart's there with the sell. We've got some good trade ideas, but I think today, patience is what's going to be key. And I didn't even look at Tesla. Yesterday, we had the very bottom in Tesla. We had 236.50, so we'll look at that name here off the open as well, but I didn't do any work on it, so a little bit cautious.
With only 10 seconds to go, Adair is on the bell. It is Thursday. You got big earnings to get to. You got the market at key levels in 3, 2, and 1. Ring it. And you've got Alibaba already underneath that $80 level. I mean, it doesn't seem to want to even hold on to that. So that's going to be very much in play. You know, Intel was super strong. That's one of the first places I am looking. Yeah, can it hold 41? Looking like it doesn't want to hold that $41 level. That's going to be key. I am on the offer of Plug to short a pop in Plug Power. I think we went over that name very, very briefly at the open. And Coinbase 100 was the other thing we didn't mention, but I mean, everybody knows Coinbase 100 by now if you were watching the last couple of days.
Stephanie. All right, there we go. Here's the move down on the NASDAQ as we get going to the downside right there. We talked about this, and there it is. So we'll start to cover, man. We just got the cover at 55 there on the TQQs. Right back into, remember what I talked about? Pre-number, while we get out right there, then we get that out again. So we're already starting right now here today. Thank you once again for watching us. We're just getting started, so hopefully you're having some fun with us. AMD right now. What's that doing? AMD not doing much. We're waiting for 118. We'll be patient with that one. I probably should have shorted that earlier. That's what's moving around. Check out Target. We did want to short any pops. Not yet. We'll wait for you, Target. Let's check out one of our best stocks in our own personal portfolios, Palantir. We'll put the hat on in a minute, maybe. Let's get a winner first. All right, not seeing too much. Obviously would like a pop. I can't be short biased and looking to get long right now on this name, but this is a good little opportunity. If it gets above 20 bucks, let's see if there's some pushback on that one. Cisco, Google. Okay, if Google does, this is the long that I like. We hammered this yesterday. It's not there yet. Google actually is going up, it looks like, yeah. So Google's going up, so this long is correct as well. But
Cisco coming in.
Cisco coming in, okay, good. So we're already down there bidding, so let's see what happens with Cisco.
Yeah, Cisco is at, well, it's at 46.30, so, I mean, that's pretty close to that $46 level we're mentioning. It looks like it's the first thing to come in. Shorting pops on Alibaba is going to have to wait, because if you want to short pops, last I checked, the stock actually has to go up first to get a level. Might look at that $80, but as long as we're at 46 in here, you know, this is the next one to come into play. I don't think anything else is setting up. Although Nvidia is getting close to 490, I think in 93 level is a good resistance level for that. You don't even want to get to 46 here. You have to be way out in front of it if you want it.
Here, did you see the T?
190 on Apple. 190 hit 190 on Apple is a big resistance level, but that's not a name I was looking to fade at the open, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm not. This is why, guys. You guys have asked for me to, or for the show to add some futures trading, so that's what we did. You know, we're here for you guys. Look at this. Here comes the NASDAQ coming right back in, right? So we just got another fill down here at 60s. We are waiting for the best fill to come through still. There it is right there. You guys asked and delivered right there. More futures trading. You got it. There it is right there. Nice move back in. We are going to go long. Well, we're long Cisco starting, but we're going to wait to see if we can get a little bit lower on this name. Maybe, well, what are we long at right here? We're long at 32s. Okay, I mean, I just started bidding down there near 46 flat. That might be a little bit too. There it is. I mean, we're going to ring the register up here. If we can get 15 quick cents here on Cisco, we will take a piece out. I am offering, where am I offering? I'm not offering anywhere. Oh, there we go. Just got out. Okay, good. I was offering somewhere. There it is. A nice win again. So we're going to go 2 for 2 right now early on this. I'll pass it back over. Neil, short plug.
Yeah, I'm short Plug Power. We did get into that one. It's only about 5 pennies in the money. It's a $4 stock. Just looking at Cisco, I mean, it didn't get tight to that 46 level. I'm risking, if I take long Cisco, I'm risking to underneath 46. So it's going to be minimum 50 to 60 cents worth of risk on Cisco if I'm going to be in it. Pan W is only going to the downside, but Apple did just wick 190. It's a big level. Pop and fade is one of my favorite setups. And if you pop a 190 resistance and get back underneath, the top is currently 21s. I want evens to 21s. That's generally speaking the way I like setting that one up. And if you were still watching Alibaba, it is absolutely flushing. That's going to set up PDD for me because Pinduoduo just rejected that 112 right away off the open. Current high 111.15. If it doesn't break 111.15, I want to be short underneath that price.
Guys, I mean, there it is right there. Stick with us, man. Stick with this. You can see right here, if you're just joining late, look at the sticky note right here for Cisco. It's right away, almost getting right back to the dollar club right now. 46 longs. Okay, comes back in, we take it. Boom goes the dynamite. We are also right now short off another sticky note play. It's AMD. We are short. Let's get some out. Ring the damn register one more time. Wow, what kind of a day is this again? There it is, another one. 30 cents in the money now on AMD. We are just 30 cents. Oops. 40 cents, 50 cents as AMD continues to make that move down. Man, oh man. Okay, well, here we go again, guys. We talked about yesterday what we were doing. We were going to go one for one. Cisco, monster move. We're almost out of that one. We're out of it. AMD now down in the money, 40 cents. All right, we're short bias. We've got these names on. We just got to get rid of Cisco. Cisco came into that gorgeous level of 46 bucks. We took it. We're there. Now let's wait to see what happens moving forward, man. Cisco downside, AMD downside. Good thing we covered half of AMD. That move was a little quick. I can't believe how much it dropped there into the 50s. Let's put another bid here. Q's still going to the downside as, yeah, man, we're excited to start the day here.
Yeah, it's definitely looking like it's a little heavy. We're going to bounce off initial support. So if you're looking for entries, this is the overnight bottoms on the NASDAQ. That is a double bottom when we opened, or at least when we opened up there. About after 7 o'clock, or sorry, after 8 o'clock, we came to you. So if you bounce off this level, that's where you can get some entry points into the short. Distinction without a difference to say that the Chinese ADRs are going to be weak. And NEO is now down 6%. I'm not saying it gets to $7, but this is definitely a name which if it's going to get to 7 even, 750 is going to have to hold to that downside. So if you hold down there, I want to be shorted. Apple, right at that 190. My stop is going to be at that previous wick high. And then Plug Power, we went over that one already. NVIDIA didn't really give you anywhere near to 93. But if it's going to head to the downside, it's got a lot of room to run on NVIDIA. So if the market does bounce here, I want to retest to that high before getting into a short. I don't want to short bottoms on this name. Apple presented me with a level. You know, NVIDIA has yet to do so.
Yeah, we are about to get stopped out here because AMD is levitating right now back up to the upside. So it's really starting to go
Intel's
here.
flying as well.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of these chip names starting to go. We're just short here on AMD at 90. So remember, I told you we were out of half. So if this breaks through that high of 118.25, then we will be out of here on AMD. Like the market's still doing what we thought it would do. I mean, the market's still going to the downside right here on these TQs. I mean, we're at lows, pretty much at lows right now. So I'm going to get another bid out here in case we're wrong on all of this. So, all right, so we'll try to hold out for AMD. It's just dancing around here. Here it comes right back in. Now we're flat on the trade. Let's see if we can't work this one maybe back in a little bit lower. I'm bidding in the 80s just to get some out here because this is strong, a lot stronger than I thought here with AMD. But it's a good thing we covered. So even if we get out, we'll be roughly flat on this name. So far, so good here as we go in Cisco again. I might just get another piece out here at 80. So let's just do that. Spin the money there off the sticky note 46 level. You know, make sure you join us every single day. Neil, myself, Brendan, this guy over here, the professor, and Adara. We'll go over everything with you guys every single day. So there it is right now. Can we get it into an early Dollar Club member there? It's Cisco, and that was an easy one, guys.
I just got into Pan W. One other name that's going to come in very, very close here is going to be that Apple. I wanted to get to a chip name, but Apple was looking like it was headed down. It might retest that top. If I short this, the out is at the high of the day. As you have a bounce off of that low, you are going to see some strength come into the market. And Intel, it's just about, look, it's broken. You got to look for some kind of a dip somewhere. I'm not going to chase this high, but I'm going to have to respect it. This is, again, absolutely flying, and look for an entry into this name. It's a little bit frustrating when you're looking for it to maybe get down into a support level, and it just never does in market weakness. What is headed to the downside is Macy's. So we talked about dip buying this stock. It just bounced off pre-market lows, which is, well, okay, pre-market support, not lows, 13.50. This is where I'll go for the dip buy. As long as it's above 13, I said I wanted to be favoring the long side. So I'm going to try and wet the beacon here. This is not a stock you can trade despite being 13 bucks for 10 to 15 cents. You got to give it a little bit of room. So I'm willing to step up here a little bit to get this Macy's long. But unfortunately, PDD, it set me up for that short, got it on the way up, but I made the wick. I will play this level 2 or 3 times. I like this level on Pinduoduo. If you wonder why, this on the daily chart. To me, if it fails here, it's worth $2. So I'm going to be able to play this one multiple times to try and catch it. But the Macy's long, I don't want to chase too far, but we are willing to pay up at least a little bit off that 13.5.
Yeah, 13.8 right now for Macy's. All right, by the way, guys, always try to have faith in your positions. We just put a bid out there at 80 and got it there for AMD, right? So this is, again, you know, it's off right now. You can definitely see what Intel's doing, making those moves to the high side. Let's check out what's happening with NVIDIA. So 483, NVIDIA's not doing much. Let's hope that when we get back from Brendan, AMD is tanking. What's up, Brendan?
Plug Power trying to hold on to $4 here desperately. Citigroup, the latest to jump on the back of Plug with a downgrade this morning, cutting to $5. But as I said, trying to bounce off $4 here today for Plug.
Yeah, we just got one bid in front of. Almost what, sorry?
No, I was going to say, I was hoping that this would come down by the time we get back from Brendan, but it was close.
Yeah, it's all good. So I got one bid in front of that $4 level. I want to be in this on a $4 break. That's my goal. So we shorted one pop. It just printed 406s. Until it gets up to that previous close, that's where I wait for a rollover trade. But if this breaks 4, I want to be in the position and not looking for a breakdown to that $4 level. And if it goes green on the day, I want to be getting out. It's Apple, which is going to be of, I guess, the immediate concern. I'll zoom back in so you can see. It just wicked the high. So looking at what just happened here, it wicked the high, went to 20s, it wicked the high, went to 15s, it wicked the high, went to 10s. So I just added to the position, same stop. But when I see that happen, I'm like, okay, it looks a little bit better off this level, but I also want to make sure I'm getting some bids if it heads into that downside. Okay, Alibaba's starting to rise here.
All right,
okay, Baba's starting to get to the upside. Not Baba, it's Alibaba, Sharif. Baba getting to the upside here. It did bounce off that key 78 level. If it makes this breakout, I like 82 for some shorts. But remember on the daily chart, this is the monster support level, 78, 79 on Alibaba. If it starts going ham, I do not need to be shorting Pinduoduo if this is holding that bottom.
Yeah, no. So we'll slap a fail right there because AMD did wind up breaking that high side there. So we were hoping that we'd get another fill down there, but we didn't. So right now we'll stay away from AMD as it's really starting to go. There's obviously going to be better names. I was looking at this name now. We wanted the 118 short. So we took the name that we wanted. Now we're going to try 119 right there off of that ledge that was earlier on yesterday. Well, I guess during the midday. What you got for us, Brendo?
Sonos, guys, nice look for SONO. 13% right now. Was initially a downside move coming off their earnings report. A number of positive analyst moves this morning. Apparently, they're going to get into headphones as well for the first time for Sonos.
So, I mean, Intel, look, sometimes stocks change a little bit how they trade at the open. You know, Intel just went $1 at the open without it actually stopping. It's all green. Maybe like 42 for a fade or something. I'm not chasing it up here. And I said I would get out of Apple if we wicked that high. So it just took me out there. So we're in, we're out. If I'm playing this level, I need to see weakness underneath that price level, or at least at that price level. We liked 190. It came there a little bit faster than we expected. Plug just made a bit of a roll. So it did this wick to 420. That's what I like to see in terms of adding. So we come back in here. Going to get some bids down toward that $4, but I want to still be in position on Plug if it takes out that 4 even, right? So no matter what, I'm holding on to at least 20% of it if it gets down to that $4 level. Still nothing for Alibaba. Pan W, nothing really happening in Palo Alto yet. It is still somewhat stair-stepping into the downside, but nothing crazy on Pan W. If you're looking for something which is out of pocket, at least a little bit. Amazon's down 2% into a flat market. So retail, we've kind of been over retail, mixed, but Walmart weak. Amazon off the highs yesterday and weak yesterday. I always want to see what is forming an obvious trend or continuing one. Time to start thinking about the fact that Amazon is forming a downward trend here. So it's not quite 10 o'clock. That's where I would look to join the trend at 10 if we're still looking weak on Amazon. You know, this was not necessarily a setup for me that was on my notes or anything, but we did note that weakness yesterday, and it's starting to look even weaker.
All right, let's go. Right now, guys, everyone very, very excited. We're just going to say, as it was written here with Cisco, guess what? It's a dollar club right now with CSCO, as there it goes right back, ripping up to the upside. And I just wanted to, I'm going to be tweeting this out because, again, we want more people to check out what we're doing. There it is right there, Cisco. Nice move to the downside. Please share everything with all your friends. I mean, unless you just want to be like, yo, we went long Cisco, and I'm not telling you why. But there it is right there. Nice move to the upside for CSCO. And yeah, that's it. We've got it on. We have been getting out some more TQs. So we have less than half of this position on right now. We have about a third of it left. So a third of this position left. It is the triple Qs, and we're waiting to see what's up with that. All right, we don't have any monster positions on or anything because Cisco's were almost out of it, as we said, so not much to really look at right there. But, you know, we could still look for some more, so let's do that. Amazon was a nice move to the downside, breaking lower near that 140 right now for AMZN. So something to look at on that side of things as well, AMZN 140. So will it hold here? Looking at some charts, a 20-minute chart, this is not a bad area. It's just right now, like I said, we are trying to go short, but the market's coming back up pretty nicely right now. So yeah, good movement there, 140 and change for Amazon, could be that buy. Apple, wow, 191. Shout it out, guys. This is definitely a diamond hands play, man. We talked about, you know, buying these dips and a lot of these names, and anybody, and I know Sharif has it, and obviously most of us are probably long Apple at some point, or if you own an index or anything. Apple just absolutely a monster right now, getting going again. Man, you doubt these guys, and that would be your first mistake. Apple, huge move to the upside and still motoring. So where do we stop on this? I mean, you're getting into an area right now that could be something. I mean, 190 was a monster move. You're going to get a top wick at some point here today. So this could be something that you look for to fade out. You know, the short on the market's working, but if Apple keeps on ripping up, then it won't work for very long. So let's just stay patient with it. We've got the dollar with Cisco. We've got some great trades in the queues, and we are waiting very, very patiently, and it's almost coming right now. We're actually at 80s. We're at 85, sorry. It went to 77. So a couple more pennies higher, and we will start an AMD short into 119.
Speaking of, well, if it's coming back in, that means the first opportunity to get a dip in Intel is going to happen here. So I got right out of when PanW started to go, not PanW, Pinduoduo started to go, did not want to hold that past me, don't want to fight it. We made a bit of a wick bottom on the NASDAQ. So if we go to the top of the range, that's where you want to put shorts on, I think. Intel, again, it's a high flyer. It is coming back in. It's weird to say Intel high flyer, but it is today, and it has been for a week. 41.5, VWAP doesn't matter at this point. I want to look to be buying that dip. PanW, I had it on the brain because I wanted this to stair step up if you couldn't get a level to trade off of. Well, the first step has just been put in, which is getting back to these pre-market highs. All it has to do is put in a higher low, and then you've got something to work with for the relief rally in PanW. No. So pretty strong move there in PDD. Microsoft.
Wow.
Wow, Microsoft.
We got a monster move here in AMD as well. Not monster, but is Microsoft ripping? Because this
Microsoft is back through the previous to triple top highs, all-time highs on Microsoft.
You know, yesterday, guys, if you're watching the market recap show, I told Chris Brecher, I go, my play is Microsoft going long. So that's fantastic news to hear. So thank you for that quick update. We just got, so we're now back green on AMD, but maybe not for long. This name just came in, and it may come out relatively quickly right now, as we still got about 2/3 of this position back on for MSFT, or for AMD. I'm obsessed here with Microsoft. Let's see if this can pull back in. in right now, it is AMD, and it's trying to go upside right again. So we shorted this name right now, and we shorted a decent amount of shares. So let's just make sure to see what's going on here with AMD. If it breaks 119, we are out. We have a stop order in right now immediately. So any sort of a weakness on this name, we want to get out. So there it is, breaking through. So again, it's like little cuts because we kept getting out down there. I still like the short, but this market is really, really blasting up. So yeah, let's just be as diligent as we can and try to be patient. I thought we were with AMD, but it just ripped up through that 119. I feel like I want to go short again and give this just a little bit more room because this is crazy as the market's trying to get back up to 15.9 right now.
Yeah, this market is absolutely, it's a 60-point range, and we've just traveled it 3 times in the time that you've been here. So always, when this is kind of choppiness is happening, it's like I want to usually be sticking to the one thing that has been in the pocket the whole way, which is playing every pop into the shorts on plug, which is working pretty much the entire morning, and then just get some profit. When it makes the next wick, get back into it. But Alibaba, fighting a sneeze, trying to get above that $80 level. Sorry, I'm literally fighting a sneeze. Trying to get above this $80 level. The recent high, the local high is 80.50. Now, I still like the PDD short, but I want to make sure that this is not blowing out to the upside if I'm going to get back into this Pinduoduo. And PDD, I'm just going to go back here. It's starting to really, really set up. It's starting to get out of, I'm not going to hold from here to here, but until it breaks out previous lows, then to me, it's in that spot where I can look for reversal. PDD moves dollars, not cents. Yeah. But if BABA's not rolling over, then I'm not going against the Cran and PDD. But as long as it's still red, I think it still has a chance.
All right, so this is where I start to feel like I'm not completely in control. So this is not a good sign. But at the same time, we'll still stay in the pocket right now. All right, so I'm bidding 82s. It just went down to 80. I thought we got the fill there. I was about to hit the register. So what I mean by losing control a little bit here is the fact that we can all sort of see what's happening with AMD, and my bias is to the short side. So once again, I'm in it again, even though I just got stopped out. So that's part of the problem here. Give me those 82s. If you're stopping at 83, that's not nice right now. We don't have a big order there. Ooh, just went to 82s and stopped again. Like, that's crazy. Okay, hopefully we'll get an 82 there. I don't know what's going on. Oh, I'm too zoomed in. Sorry about that, guys. So we just reshorted it. Let's see. I like the short. Like, am I really going to have to, like, it just stopped at 83 again? This is so stupid. All right, I'm just going to bid 83s. See if that changes my luck. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy that we didn't get that, and now it's up 30 cents from there. Okay. Anyways, as you can see, the point of what I'm trying to get at here is that this is still pretty strong. Every time it dips down, there are buyers. So 119, here it comes. See? Look how easy that just rips through offers, right? So no, 119.30 on this one, and we are done. That's the high of the day right now. Bye-bye. We will just wave the white towel on AMD for now, take the L, go 2 for 3, and work on it from there. Because for right now, I'm just going to leave this name. If it goes back up, it goes back up.
Intel 42.
That's the thing. My bids are there. Intel's ripping right now. The whole market is on one again. Even though we're still flat on the day, it's a huge move up, honestly. It just ripped up like 150 handles there. Like, so I don't know, man. This name is starting to go, or the market's starting to go here. Making me a little bit nervous about some of these positions.
So there's it's not a refresher, but it's definitely some sellers on Alibaba at the $80 level. That's going to have gotten me back in. So I'm in PDD, back off the recent high, which I'm going to stop out if it breaks that high again. But Alibaba has refresher selling this $80 level. It's not at 80. Like they're selling in this general area, but it is starting to punch right through. So when I saw the weakness come in, that's when I went back over to that PDD. It's almost like I'm using BOB as a bit of a futures to fade PDD, looking for that bigger move. But Intel just got to 42, and I don't know what to tell you, but other than whatever you think the dip buy is on a stock that strong, sometimes I get accustomed to how Intel moves, and I go for the dip a little bit deeper than I need to. But it just wicked 41.99. I don't want to necessarily be short this name, but $42 even is $42 even.
All right. Oh, yeah. And that's what we have to keep on doing, right? Is trying to play levels that we think. And I mean, again, we're not in control of the market. The market's really in control of us. I mean, I'm just sitting here trading whatever I see and trying to make the best of it. And there goes AMD. So we just, again, we'll go green. And it was just fell back in. We actually got that 83 and 70. We got an 83, a 73, and a 75. So again, I mean, it's really super strong. My next bids are right here in the 50s. Hopefully we can get back into this ledge. But look at this market screaming higher. We haven't averaged into our TQs. We were pretty light on that. We talked about our position on that, and it's not big. So maybe we'll average into it. But look at this, right back up to pre-market highs again. So yeah, fighting a short in AMD. Not going to be good at this point. I still think it can be good. Cisco's still the dollar in the pocket right now. Nvidia, you've already looked at Alibaba, so we'll kind of leave that alone just for now. Let me just check out Nvidia here as we go, guys. Just because I want to see what the rest of this market's doing. We know that Intel's going off. Yeah, so I mean,
it's definitely an Intel sort of thing. Although yesterday, actually check that. Yesterday, the other name that was super strong in the chips was ARM, and it's a totally different story. See, I'm now short in front of 42 on Intel, but yesterday we shorted ARM in front of 56. ARM's down 2%. That's relative weakness. If you're looking short here at this high in the futures, I mean, Amazon's weak. ARM is weak. I should be short ARM off of VWAP in here. Look, I'm in Intel. If it breaks like by a few cents on 42, I'm going to be out of it. I'm back into PDD. BABA did hold underneath that 80 level at least temporarily here. So I want something out in front of 112, and then if it gets back down into 111, take the $2 and run. Counter trend trade here, so I'm going to take the money and run if it gets down to those lows. Okay, check that. I just said Amazon was relatively weak. Was is the operative word. Oh, Amazon's now breaking back out. That's all green. So Amazon reclaims 140. That is not weak at all. Suddenly it looks like another one of these strong names. I don't really have any longs that I absolutely loved out here. Not gonna lie to you, the one I wanted long was the name I just stopped out of for 10 cents. And that was Intel, because I never got the long in Intel. Sometimes that's how it be, man. I'll slap to fail, because this is one of the stocks that's been trending up for a while. I'll be frustrated with it all I want, but you gotta be able to move on, short memory, all that good stuff. If it's gonna trend up, it's almost 10 o'clock, we'll try to join that trend. PDD's in the same pocket, plug is back down to those lows. I always tell myself, like, what is the name that's just been working the whole way, and that's the one you should be doing 3 times and not necessarily, because PDD, like I'm 3rd time in, even if it works, plug pulled back every single time I wanted it to, and PDD has yet to do so. But that's how it is, guys. Let's see what's going on here. In Microsoft, we did talk about, anyways, Microsoft triple top 373. That was an all-time high, was the operative word. It's now up 1.6%. At the time when I was yelling it out, it actually wasn't at 73 where I wanted to pick it up. It was actually about 70 to 80 cents higher than that. So there wasn't really a chance to grab this when I was mentioning it. I think you had to pay up to 74. But this one, they announced a new chip yesterday. Whether you call that a good catalyst or not, doesn't matter. The market likes it.
Yeah, so wow, we are trying. Yeah, and again, yesterday that was my pick. So for Microsoft breaking higher and higher and higher. Shout out to Chris Bretcher and everybody there, part of the recap show. Look, we're into Amazon right now. We're just short here at 90. I'm only gonna, there he goes. There it goes. I was gonna say, I'm only giving this a little bit north. Oops, sorry, I'm not even showing you Amazon, my bad. I'm only giving this not too much north of 142 right now, almost out of this name. The market's just super strong. We're out of our Qs trade. Why am I not stopped out on this Amazon right now? Oh, failed to trigger, okay. So I gotta watch out for this. I was trying to get out at 142.05. We'll have to wait on this one, 142. It's upside. I don't even know where to go anymore on this stock as Amazon just continues to basically rip uncontrollably to, there it is, to the north side. As Neil said, what was once weak is now very, very strong. I guess you just got to believe in this market. There it is. We'll take that stop out there on AMZN and just wait for the best at this point right now. Oh, there it comes. It comes back. We didn't get stopped out of everything. There it is, making the move a little bit back in. Could still try to make some money on this one, but it's going to have to fall pretty decently now. That is Amazon. Let's see if it wants to go. Again, a very, very strong name back in, like Neil mentioned there. And I was looking at it at 140. That's the stupid thing, but we were biased to the short side. So, not much to talk about as it comes right back in now. Amazon, we're short at 141.95. So quick little stop out on 50% of it. We're back into it, but it looks like we might get stopped out again. Remember I was saying that, like, with that AMD trade, I was like, you know what? Like, I like this trade, but I'm not really feeling it, and I can feel that we're doing something wrong. So it was going short, which was what was wrong. So that's for sure. Cisco right now, $1. We're out of the TQs, and we're just waiting to see what happens here with Amazon.
So it is what it is, but 42 just came back in. You trade the setups that you like, and I got in on the front end of Intel in front of 42 instead of the back end. So when this starts to pull back, just acknowledge, to come to my chart for a second, just acknowledge when you do this, and this did happen on a couple of good trades yesterday, you'll get the wick out, then it comes back, it shows you that the level is good, and it's typically speaking a better entry because it's trapped some people long at 42. Real patience is only taking that trade. The real patience is only taking the trade after it runs the stop, then getting in on the backside of the trade where it just kind of works clean. But I'm not gonna tell you that's what I did. I got it the second time through, so we had to take the initial hit. Didn't have to, but that's what happened on Intel. PDD it's doing its best to hold out. I'm not gonna lie to you. But BABA just held $80. So I'm not stopped out of Pinduoduo, but BABA just did this wick off of the previous high and held on to 80 like a champion. So I jumped in off the 80 level. I shouldn't say no chance. I don't really expect both of these trades to work. It's unlikely that both of these trades work, but I'm stopping out just underneath 80 on this one and trying to hold it through a breakout of 80.50. I think you can get to 81, 81 and a half. So it's a relatively tight stop here, but BABA is showing those signs of a bit of a bounce play. If it does work, trust me, that PDD is going to blow out the top, and I'll lose 50 pennies on it, to be sure. Plug still hanging out in the pocket. We're going to go to happening now. There's a good question in the chat. JB, we'll get to it when we get a chance, but let's go to the desk for happening now.
We have just received the NAHB Housing Market Index, came in at 34, so that was lower than the previous and the consensus of 40, and also lower than the forecast of 41. Also, just to keep an eye out there, Fed Waller will be speaking at 10:30 Eastern Time. Keep an eye out for that. In terms of things that are moving right now, we have Apple up about 1.5% right now. They announced this morning that they're going to build in a solution for the iPhone 15 overheating into the iPhone 16 to come. So I guess the market is reacting positively to that. We also have Walmart still down off of earnings. They actually did report an earnings beat above Wall Street estimates, but there were some caution regarding consumer spending, so that has taken a little bit of a hit on the stock today, down about 6.5% right now, continuing to go down from pre-market. Brought to you by Surge Trader, where traders can get a funded trading account up to $1 million and keep 90% of the profits. The program has simple rules and no time limits. Just go to surgetrader.com/TTV and use the promo code TTV for 10% off.
All right.
Yes, sir. So I just realized when I showed you guys this on BABA, I said it held 80. This is what I mean. I had to zoom the chart in so you can see better. But it came down in, and this is the wick to 80. That it just held on to. To me, that's an entry like 9 times out of 10, especially given what happened on the other side of that trade, which was a battle that happened underneath and at 80. We had a bunch of selling pressure halting this move, so it was stalling out, and it was shorting PDD at that time, and then you get a breakout and immediate support. Like the level that holds for 10 minutes for resistance is immediate support when it gets retested to the downside. So I realized that I didn't really explain that one. I didn't think well enough. Like long in front of 80 seems simple, but it wasn't because it was a round number. It was what happened previous to that I liked that long. So I'm taking profit on that. It's only a matter of time before PDD. There you go. I said there's almost no chance that I don't, if BABA holds on, that PDD was going to end up working. So I'm in the short, not really scalping it there. It never really broke down 1-to-1. So we just get out the high. The same thing as before. Like it was no point at which that was giving me a chance to take profits. So we'll slap the fail on PDD. Now we're BABA long. And I guess that's what we have to work with. I'm not going to pretend that Alibaba long 80 was the initial plan for a long trade. It would have been Intel somewhere. But this is what it is. And if it would have been BABA, to me, it would have been like $78, which, if that's the one you're looking at 9:30, you pick your priorities, and they're not always the right ones. So right at 9:30 was your chance to get that daily support level on Alibaba, but that's not where my attention was. I was in plug, which is working out to be sure. Intel's right back at that high. We've taken profit down into the 80s. If it makes a fresh high, I'm getting out of the way of this. But you just got to 15.9 on the NASDAQ. If you remember 15.9 at the NASDAQ, that's because yesterday, right at the end of the day, that's where we accelerated to the downside off that 15.9 level. And it was the opening range bottom yesterday. So this could be a bit of a resistance spot. If the shorts don't start working off of that level, then you have to reconsider them. The only thing I can say for shorts working is at least plug has been in the pocket. But even that's going to get to the upside if this market keeps going.
All right, guys. You know, in being honest with how trading's going, like we're down today where we were up yesterday. I mean, it's just we're going to have this market pull back a little bit. We did just put on an Amazon trade right now. We're short right here at 63. I just put a bid out there at 75 to get something out there because we came pretty damn close to getting stopped out there through 143. I mean, I don't even... We talked about sort of getting those feels that we weren't right with some of the positions there. So we're just I mean, we could make it all back like right now. So it's all good. But definitely, here it goes. Definitely making me a little bit sour here is this Amazon trade. So we'll wait on it. We'll see if it does pull back. And obviously, we have to indicate that retail has been really strong. I mean, we've seen Target. We've seen, I mean, Walmart. I mean, obviously, their report wasn't that great. Let me just check in on Walmart. Okay, so now all of a sudden we're back into having a much better day than we were before. So that's good already right now. But not if Amazon doesn't stop. I'm going to put another bid here, see if we get something out. All right, so on this play, we were, again, pennies away from getting more stubborn with AMD and trying to go short in front of that 120. I feel like 120 is a level that at least we've been short here the last couple days in this area, and there's a little bit more supply up here. I guess there just wasn't enough inside here at 118. I like the 118 level, and you know, you just got to be responsible for the trades that you put on, and that's what we are. And again, that was not a great trade for AMD shorting down there. But I've lost more money on Amazon than AMD because Amazon, we didn't really get any outs except for just right now. Like that was a short, that was an out, that was a short, that was an out. Then we averaged it in and got some back out right now. So we're making money back on it. It's fine, not really anymore. But we were making some money back on it, and we did. So right now we have half of this position left. And look at this. Look at it just going right back up. These stocks are not stopping, man, to the upside. And we're going to get, whoopsies, we are going to get stopped out if that what's happening. Walmart, not really doing much. Let's just check out on our TGT quickly. Oh, that is up to 130. Okay, so again, just too obsessed with everything else. This is a level here where we may want to short that. I'm going to do a little bit more, but 131 there maybe as a top. Right now, I just got to sort of stick with Amazon here, but it is going to break, and I just want to make sure because last time my stop didn't trigger above that 142 area, and I had to pay up a little bit there. So we'll see if this triggers through. There it is. So we're out. There we go. So now we're just giving back what we did yesterday on some not great ideas on the short side so far. Here's AMD short at 120 now.
Like all that happens is when it starts working, I'm going to come to my chart for a second, the 15.9 just, it retested 15.9. Like I said, I got half of Intel out, then I just reloaded it, and 15.9 broke, and there's my stop overlapping. This is flying to the upside. So anchoring is the cognitive bias that's the issue here. I'm anchored to where I wanted to be long on Intel. And because I'm not getting prices that are remotely resembling that, I'm not going long in Intel. It's a cognitive bias, and if you don't know what that means, everybody has them. But when they're tripping you out, the best thing you can do is, I just don't want to short the stock anymore. I just took another leg out of plug power, and again, this has been working, but if the market keeps going, even this might bounce. It just wicked $4 to 99 cents and came back. So if that ever happens, I'm not saying I would go long off that, but that's generally speaking, if I was looking for a bounce, a break of $4 by 1 cent and a reclaim, that's what got me to take some out there at 402. It could still work further to the downside, but that's the reason why I would get some out there. It doesn't look like that's a great spot to get out, but that's kind of like that even dollar hold. And when that happens, I want to respect when I see it go. there's a reversal on BOBA. If BOBA gets underneath that, back underneath that $80 level, sorry, just going back over to PDD. PDD is still red, still off this level, and BOBA's about to take out 80. I give myself 3 chances to get the reversal on PDD. This would be the third if I take it.
I mean, after all this, we're going to be up on AMD? Okay. It's too bad that Amazon took our lunch there, because it would be the same damn story with Amazon as well. But unfortunately, you saw where we got stopped out on that name. Right there at 143. It's in the money now, 40 cents. Too bad we don't have it, who cares? But we do have this name, and that is AMD. We talked about getting short in front of 120. There's the short in front of 120. We're now short, real position, man, 119.80. It is what it is. That's a good short for me. Let's get some more outs here at 20 if we can. We've just covered a bunch of times here at the quarter mark for AMD. It's at the 21 period moving average. I got that from Max. So let's wait to see what happens now on this play, as we'll just cover more. We're covering more here on AMD, hopefully to be the right trade. Back in. So there it is. That's a good short for me. We'll be able to see if it does hit for us or not. That Amazon can honestly, I wonder, is Obi even here today? Because that's too bad, because this could have been an absolute monster winner up there at 143. My bad by getting out. I'm
going to say yes.
Shouldn't have put that stop order in. But again, that's what we do, right? You got to stick with what you're doing. And like I said, being down when we were up yesterday just wipes yesterday out. But it doesn't matter. It's 10, 10, 10. We'll get this all back, and that's what we did. We got that play on AMD, and we were literally cents away from having our day right now. So Amazon pulls back in. We're still who we are. Let's see if we can't still find some more winners, and we will. That Amazon trade, again, we basically would be flat if we'd still held it, but we didn't. So stop order got run there, and that's what's going to happen. They ran it all the way up, so we just should have noticed what Amazon was doing, and it wasn't behaving properly. And I think that's what you were saying about Intel as well. Like,
I mean, it's just a long.
When things change, you have to have the ability to get out of the way and figure it out, right? So.
Yeah, I mean, look, Intel just wicked 42.5. So like, there's a limit
Amazon.
there's a limit to how many times you want to try to take it. 42 was a level worth trading. So I'll probably do that. Even dollars on Intel I'll probably take almost every single time when they set up. So I'm taking the trade, and we took the trade, and it's still to the upside. If you treat it the other direction, however, is what I was getting at. If you were thinking 42, biased to the long side, then suddenly that becomes your dip buy opportunity when it reverses off 42. So that is what it is. Alibaba, we took some profit when it got up to 80.5 and then back out. It's now broken 80. Well, what does that mean? Okay, it was a good long, but 80 was the reason I was in it. 80 is now gone, and I had a chance to get PDD. I said as long as PDD was red and underneath previous day's support and rejecting it, I wanted to give that one a chance. It doesn't hurt that BOBA is pulling back in there, but it still needs to take 113 for my first out, and then we'll see if it can get down into VWAP on Pinduoduo. Brendo, what up, bud?
I tried to go earlier this morning, but got a little stuck. ABVC Biopharma just popping up on more volume right now. New licensing agreement for one of their drugs announced this morning. 21% still, but just took out the highs there for ABVC.
That's a bit of a mouthful. ABVC. Sorry, I went to pull it up and type the wrong thing twice for obvious reasons. I like anything that's breaking $1. This broke $1 and held $1 yesterday. But this is that reverse split, fall down like it's supposed to, hold the $1 level, break out from the $1 level setup. It's been happening over and over again, so get that out of the way. This is the second time it's bouncing. I always expect the second bounce to be nowhere near as good as the first, so I would suggest that puts 185 as a resistance spot. Would not want to be setting anything up without respecting 185 to maybe $2 as a short level. I don't think you see $1 again today, but this has already done this run once, and every time I've looked at this, I think I've seen lower highs off these $1 bounces on reverse split names. So that would put $2 is resistance. I'm going to pay for locates if we don't have them for free, which I'm going to assume we don't. We don't, so I'm paying for locates. Because if this gets back up into this high, I'd be looking for a short, because second time through.
All right, one more bid here. We've already gotten some out on AMD. Obviously, it just hit 119. like 80-cent winner right there. It's so stupid. We did put a new position on. We just took 7 cents on it, but it's coming back right now to the downside here, or to the upside, sorry, is Intel. We did get a piece out there. It's looking, I would just want to test it against 50. Looks like we're coming up to it right now. So we don't have a huge position. We're going to put a little bit more on right now. And like we mentioned, like going the opposite way of the market today, not counter trend, not good in the chip space, right? It's been hot. And the reason why I went short is, again, huge level, 42.50. I just feel like we talked about where this name was going, and I was like, maybe there's going to be a sell, but I wasn't talking about, I'm talking about for a longer term, up here near 43, 44. You're getting pretty close to, slow down. Chart. Okay, you're getting pretty close to that level now, right? So there's that top. We still could get stopped out here, guys. Like, this is not a trade that is a guaranteed winner by any stretch of the imagination right now. But there it goes. We're at 50 right here, looking for a potential stop out in Intel. We're not looking for it, but we do have that order ready to go. AMD's been good. We took that out. So right now, I mean, that's literally what we're doing. Is shorting those names and looking for some more opportunities. You know, a name that I really liked for a long time has been Uber. We did buy this name, and we got really lucky. Like, we're long $30-something. Just took the shot on Uber one time before earnings a while ago, and it's really just been working to the upside. So despite the market being down, we're trying to sort of barcode a little bit right now. So any kind of a drop in, like, so if you lose this and fall back into this past support, I really like Uber down here at 53.50, 53.60, ahead of 53.50, somewhere in here. All the lines are, all the technicals are lining up right now, 70s, 50s, 60s to the downside. I think you have some decent protection right there if that's something that you're looking at. So I'm trying to do that. Uber, strong name. We talked about relative strength versus weakness. Let's just see if it can come into the pocket a little bit here with Uber and that 53.80. So if it breaks that, I don't want to go short. I don't want to go long up here. Want to see if we can get back in. If this market keeps ripping, then it's going to look like a great long here. But I don't have it on right now, so we're going to wait to see if it falls back down a little bit as the Intel short just broke through 50. So we're about getting close to being out on this one as, wow, up 5%. It can actually go a lot more than this. So here we go.
Earnings day 12, 11 or 12. I could have that wrong. It was double digits on after earnings. Let's just leave it at that. Like, Intel doesn't normally do this, but it can go 10%. So Neo's down 8%. If it gets to $7, it will actually be down over 10% for it to get to $7. So that $7 level on Neo will also be a short sell restricted price. So I've got a bid in there already. Kind of been waiting around for this to happen, and maybe today's the day. I can't get over how weak this is. PDD, as I said, third time loss. Second time, at least a much tighter stop. It was a little bit more patient with the second entry because I allowed it to pull back, show me some weakness off the level, then get in. In this particular case, I was anticipating instead of participating. In this case, again, participate after it's made the top wick and shows you a little bit of a lower high. Now, can it work all the way down into VWAP? Step one has already happened. But if you're looking for some weakness, which, I mean, obviously we have been, Tesla's down 2%. Shout out to you, Rhodesy, in the chat. Tesla down 2% underneath that 241 level, which for whatever reason, like yesterday, not today, and trying to trend lower. Then I look on over here. What stock do I like short underneath $17 and is an EV name, which has been weak on the daily chart? If you answered Rivian, well, A, I just showed the chart, so I gave it away. That's a fail on my part. But the answer is Rivian. Rivian, again, just falling all over itself. So you get away from something which you've liked, which is when this stock is failing at 17 or rejecting 17. There you go. Every time it rejects 17, it's at least good, if not fantastic. In this particular case, you're seeing it happen again. Well, $16 to support on Rivian. Just absolutely nasty. It's what happens when you get away from A-plus type setups. And it doesn't matter whether you win or lose. Like, if everything had worked out today, not trading through 17 on Rivian would still be a fail because it's, to me, still just the better setup. All that said, got to go back over to PDD. If it can't hold out this top, then we're getting out once again. Absolute nastiness. Naresh saying Globe. We'll look at that one in a quick little second, but I did want to get back to that ABVC I forget what Brendan said the name of the company was.
Yeah.
ABVC, whatever.
AbbVie? No.
It's trying to hold this 150. Now, I'm looking for a short into the $2 level, 185 into 2. It has to get there first for me to take that trade. But I am not looking for the long with this one. Not when it's the second time bouncing off $1 on a reverse split. I want to be fading it if it gets back to that top.
Oh, I just canceled that bid, and I think I would have got filled. I'm trying to get, so we got a little bit out of AMD, Intel, but not much. Oh, where? Okay. Did I just get that fill? No, I didn't. Oh, I got an Intel fill there. I'm bidding. Oh, I'm bidding 14s right here. Okay, give it. Yes, sir. There it is. Okay. So nice move down in. So we're making some cash here, and Amazon can honestly take a. Where's that Gates of Hell thing? Here it is, right here. There it is. We had it. I hope you still do. I do not. Good trade there for Amazon if you got it on. But again, short for 143. This was our largest position, was right here, and we got stopped. That's why we were taking it out, because it was huge. And then we just got stopped out there. Sucks, but you're bouncing off 142, could be a possible long as the market retraces all the way back into VWAPs right now. So again, Amazon going to be a red name on my board, and it doesn't, you know, like not every day you're going to, well, hopefully every day you can find some winners, but you know, sometimes levels move to areas that stop you out, as you guys can see here. Okay, so Intel, I'm bidding 36s. Come on, Intel, what the? I was just looking like, why am I not getting out? This is a nice pullback here for INTC. So let's see, okay, let's see if it can go down. It has no problem ripping. We know that. We've seen that today. We're playing counter trend on this name, obviously. We're in the money, an amazing 3 cents, trying to get a little bit more, obviously, on this. And if it falls back in, we'll take a 37 fill there, if it, or sorry, 36 fill if it comes in, because that's the best it's gotten since we've gotten this position. So we'll take one more fill there. Actually, we do. There it is. We got it. Okay, here we go. Shout out to Brendo. But I don't know why, but I just shut him out anyways. Wait, yeah, just because. And then now here it goes to the downside. Let's go. We'll do the hot dog cannon again. Guys, we're going to have one red name again today, and it's going Intel pending here, and it's going to be Amazon. And I just talked about how disgraced I was about that trade, but at the same time, there it goes down into the downside. It's Intel. We're still him, and we're still here, so let's go.
This market is starting to give it back up, so you know, hold on to the shorts that are working. Keep working with those, but the NASDAQ is 30 points away from the bottom, so it did wick that 15.9. It was the right area to look for those shorts. For me, PDD is only 50 cents in the money. I'm looking for the buck on the next move into the downside. Plug's still working up, but I want an EV name to the south side where I don't have to chase. Rivian's already gone. I was just looking over at Lucid. It's still above $4 and only down 2%. This is in the pocket where it could still give you a move into those lows. So if we are going flush city on a reversal, this in front of 420 at least still sets up. I don't necessarily want to chase a bottom, but if I can get something which is setting up nicely off a good level, in this case Lucid. Oh, we have to pay for Lucid. I'll pay for Lucid short, but I want the short to 420. Let's go to the desk. We've got the small cap recap with Adara.
So
Lots of bioscience-related small caps today, including Apollomics, which has announced the first approval for its treatment for small cell lung cancer, up about 23% today. APLM is the ticker for this one. Next, we have Dermata Therapeutics, DRMA. This company has basically announced that they're starting their clinical trial for their acne treatment, and they have gotten some FDA approval based on phase 3, and the results should be available by Q1 2025. Last but not least, Bone Biologics Corporation, BBLG. No specific news on this one, but this is a second-day runner. They were up about 9% yesterday, guys.
I was just like cursing out the side of my mouth here at Intel because, like, honestly, get down, Intel. Let's go. You can do this, guy. So hopefully this will get down to the downside. And by the way, man, we just talked about a dollar club. So let's do it right there. We got a dollar club on Cisco. We got a dollar club on AMD as well right now. So hopefully it can stay in the pocket as we'll just continue to do this now today. I'm not going to reload that Amazon. If it goes up, it goes up. If it doesn't, it does not. We had a great trade there on Shopify the other day, and it's right now dancing around some levels. I do want to check back on that Uber talk because I want to see where that's going. It just made a move down, and I didn't put a bid there, so I do want to look at that. So Shopify, again, just a pretty monstrous move. for this name, and you could see you are coming up into that $70 mark. So you're still ways away from it, but this name is probably going to get exhausted pretty soon. Shopify, as if this is like actually happening in this world, $47 back 2 weeks ago, now $67 for Shopify. So I'm actually immediately, upon completion of said show, I don't even care what my price is on Shopify. I'll be exiting this name almost rapido pretty soon. Probably maybe for sure half of it as you come back into some of those summertime highs. So I don't love Shopify again, and if it goes the way of all Canadian tech companies, you should get out immediately. I don't know if that's actually what's going to happen, and that's never a good.
All Canadian #1 tech company.
Yeah, exactly. Not all Canadian tech companies.
The curse is if you're #1 and also high profile outside of Canada. Like that's Nortel, and then of course BlackBerry, RIM. And now Shopify.
By the way, Intel finally, Neil, starting to go back down to the downside. So there it is again. Let's go right now. We're having a good day today as the net's now flying in. So all is well back in the Katina camp as we definitely messed up that Amazon, taking full responsibility for it. But at least we gave everybody this Intel trade, which is a huge short off that level. It's now finally starting to print. We have half of what we had, a little bit less than half, about 40% left. Letting Intel cook now back in 42, next area of stoppage.
Yeah, this market. Someone just pointed out in the chat. I missed the name. I was gonna give you the credit for noticing that you might have higher lows. Well, you have higher highs on the NASDAQ, but you just put in a higher low. I was about to say might, but you can see the bounce is now actually continuing. So you actually have higher lows and higher highs in the NASDAQ, despite being down 0.1%. So this is still, in the first hour, a bit of an upward trend. And here's where it gets real nasty, because if you get back above 15.9, the market's telling you it's a long if you get there. I'm going to take something out. No, you know what? Now I'm going to hold on to this for underneath that $4 level. I just realized, no, you took this out here on plug. That was so you could hold for this move. If anything, I want to reload in terms of 406. Should not be hasty on the stocks that are working the best. That's the one that you should be holding on to. I did take this out here 112.8 when the market bounced on Pinduoduo, so it was only about 70 cents. Would have liked it to have been $1, but this is where it chopped before on the way up when I had that second short. So if that holds as support, what do I see? A strong stock. It shows me signs of making a flag. I'm going to get some out on that bid when I see it. It's only 20 cents away from that target area. I jinxed myself by saying NEO was going to come into the bottom at $7. The second I say that, the EV names start to bounce. Rivian bouncing off 16.25. That's a little frustrating, obviously. But I don't think I don't think NEO's going to give me that trade. It looks like it's not going to happen. On this move back to the upside, the only things I want to short are things that are continuing to show relative weakness or at ridiculous levels. Relative weakness, ARM in the chip space. I said it, but it never really set up for a trade. It's rejecting a double top, so I like trend down from there, down to 52.5, which was, you just look at the 15 or the daily chart. Pull it back a little bit, you'll see 52.5 is a big level. But it's consolidating above 54 into this 54.75. So I want to short the top end of the range. If the market gets to 15.9s and fails, this is where I want that short on ARM.
I got to say, I love ARM there. Well, Intel, we just rang the registers at 15s there. I mean, honestly, guys, I told you, the stocks that I trade best, and I just have to remember this, Intel and Microsoft. But, Pranya right there. So anyways, I'm going to keep on Intel. So you guys see me on Intel. I feel like it's going to be hopefully a good trade. I've really been feeling that one, and we've been feeling AMD as well. AMD is still making moves. We just covered some. Intel's making the move back down here. But what's up to Pranya? I mean, I'm hoping that a lot of you are watching the show because of the trades that we've been, basically dishing out here every single day. But Amazon was a perfect long at 142. So you are welcome. I mean, I didn't take it, but at least we talked about it. And I was just looking at it right in front of everybody. And I was like, well, there's Amazon right here. It's probably a good long there at 142. But again, Neil mentioned this. It's just my bias was to the short side, so I couldn't pull the trigger long. I'm working on that, reading that Market Wizards book right now. But we could write it on Intel, that's for sure. That's a nice move down there. We could write it on Cisco. That was a beautiful move right there. AMD, look at this. We're now almost $1 again in the money on AMD. So everything is like really, really good. It's just one trade that I'm not happy about today, and that was that Amazon, and then that missed opportunity again back on that long. So, you know, all is well. You know, we'll be 4-1 as of now, but that's going to change hopefully very, very soon, and we'll add some more into the pocket. There's AMD. I'm going to bid right now ahead of that VWAP. So let's just take, well, the VWAP would be the dollar club, but let's get a little more specific again as we bounced off. Oh, it's 70s. So let's put a bid at like 77-ish, get that fill. We were waiting at 66, but as you can see, that VWAP has moved a little bit, now at 69. So let's just try to respect that and see where we go right now with this name. I like it. It's AMD short.
And speaking of shorts, I said I wanted a EV name which hadn't really completely given up the ghost. The answer to that question for me was Lucid. Only down 1%. This is the first pop it's made. I'm not leaning into this one on the long side on the pop. I'm getting into a short position on Lucid. If it gets to $4, fine, fair enough. But you can see yesterday, 420, 420, closed at 422. So I'm shorting into that area on Lucid. You're still underneath 15.9. So there's always that, you don't break 15.9. I don't think it's automatically jammed into the longs, but you got to be careful what it is you short and where. So I want something which is showing me that weakness. I am keeping an eye on Tesla, man. Like Tesla making that bounce, weak all morning, but if Tesla decides to break VWAP and get to the upside and break out 41s, Tesla joins the party, the NASDAQ's going green today. So right now it is down 2%, but if this gets back above and starts holding and making some higher lows in there, that's exactly what can take this market to the upside. There was a reversal on Amazon. Amazon was weak this morning. It turned into a strong stock. Tesla does the same, and I think fighting the shorts is going to be a bad idea. But one name we haven't had a chance to talk about is Coinbase because it didn't get to 100. But let's see what's going on with the rest of crypto land at the desk. Adara.
Some Solana related updates. So Solana jumped 20% yesterday because Cathie Wood had basically lauded its speed and cost over Ethereum. It's actually gone up 200% in the last month. And let's look at, I mean, right now we're a little bit down on the day, but let's look on the daily chart of Solana because this is wild. We were at around $20 in mid-September. Now we are at $62.72. Look at that giant green daily chart, daily candle yesterday, sorry. Lots to look at here for Solana. We also have Bitcoin right now, another strong day yesterday for Bitcoin. Now we're lagging a little bit. And now in the markets in general, Bitcoin up about 1.67% right now. Ethereum up about 1%. Solana actually not doing too much right now, just slightly positive. But yeah, generally a pretty mixed market right now for crypto, guys.
All right.
Yeah,
good news there. I own some Solana. I didn't even notice that.
Huge mover there. And remember, like, it's not like Bitcoin isn't the only thing out there. It's the
look at Intel.
Obviously, it's those future, but it's not the only thing out there. Coinbase, if you're talking about reversals in the market, this was super weak, still making lower highs and lower lows, but that is a monster pullback or bounce, sorry, off of the 95 level. So this looks like a strong one. At least temporarily. If this gets back up to that $100 level, I still favor the short. But if it shows some higher lows, that is rejection underneath 96 on a 15-minute chart. That's what it looks like. 96 and wicks underneath. Wicks underneath for the entire morning. If it gets back to 96 and holds, I like that price action down there. I've generally been short biased on Coinbase, but that's the kind of thing that's telling you there's buyers rejecting underneath that 96 level specifically for coin.
Yo, shout out to my wife, of course, watching the show. As I tell you guys all the time, she's all over this. I love you, Marissa. Thank you so much for being in the chat and supporting. Again, we've got this one on, man. It's Intel. Look at what we're doing on Intel right now, Marissa. This is a good one. Let's go, bang, 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 bang. As it's now 50 cents, 50 cents, 50 cents in the money right now. So I really like your lashes and your eyebrows. But right now, Intel paying for that one. That doesn't mean go anywhere else today. We made a bad trade on Amazon. Here comes Intel coming back into the downside. There it is. Let's spin it. I love you. And as we continue to go on here, it's a nice little move to the downside. And there it is, man. To take Neil's line for Intel, I'll be your Huckleberry today. Down to the downside, 41.92 as it continues. And guess what? This one's for you again. There's another dollar club for AMD as that's making a move down now as well. 50 cents on a $40 stock, $1 on a $120 stock as we continue to make moves back down into the downside. We're going to have one mistake today, and it's going to be Amazon. That was it. We went short way too much. I thought this move was way overextended, and I'm wrong because it just came right back again into that 143, another opportunity to short it. So if you guys like that trade, there it is for you. Opportunity to short out Amazon one more time. I should have took it again, and we might have been green on the name if we did, but I'm going to stay away. We talked about having that bias on a stock. I had it the wrong way there. It's Amazon, and we're just going to hold off on that one because why? Why do anything else? We know who we are. We short AMD. We shorted Intel. These are the names that we trade. We trade Amazon as well. That one just came out a little bit. Nothing we could do about it. There it is. Is it a long reload? We'll find out, Joshua. But for right now, it's boom goes the dynamite. Look, all that we've done today, AMD short. That's huge in the money. Cisco long. We literally have the bottom of the day. Intel short. Boom. Right back into VWAP. I don't know. We can't really do anything better than that on Intel unless you had that blast long there off the open. But I'll take this one any day. Allows me to put on more shares. Berendo at the desk.
Axos Financial, AX, the bear cave, guys, just out with a short report on AX in New York.
Uh-oh.
AX.
Be careful. The bear cave, they've been busy. Well, I don't want to specifically say them, but when I say they, I mean the short sell reports have been busy in the last couple of weeks. This is not the first one. I'll give some serious credit, though, because this is the first time in the last, call it 6 months, that I remember hearing a short seller report when a stock was actually bouncing and looking somewhat strong. So, kudos to you for having the guts to put the report out after this has just made a hammer bottom and looking like it has a chance to break out. That said, if they're still in and it breaks 41, they're screwed. But anyways, it's a very, very thin traded stock, 250,000 on volumes. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be the old cup of tea for a day trader. Probably something, for swing trading or options is probably the only way to play that. 250,000 shares and it's 10:30 means there's no liquidity on the stock. That's worthy of day trading. That's the best way to put it. There's liquidity. Liquidity means there are bids and asks, but there's not a lot. Back to Pinduoduo just very quickly there because it just came right in, lower high. So the thing about patience is when you don't have it, it looks obvious on the chart, and when you do have it, it should also look obvious. Wait for it to make a high, then get in on the way down. Wait for it to show a lower high. Now, I missed it because it's a quick rejection, but then it comes into the same lower high, and you know exactly what it is that you want and what you're looking for, which is and then that 113.5, and then we get that 60 cents, which was a pain to be able to get if you weren't long early, but that's what we mean when we say patience. Be willing to miss the trade to make the trade. If you wait for it to get back up and show a lower high, you might not get the top. If you just get out in front of it, great, but generally speaking, over the long run, that tends to lead to losing trades, but you look really good when it is that top. I was not patient with PDD, but the fourth time is going to work because the last two have been on the other side of it. Plug, by the way, I'm into Lucid off that 420 level. Still only short as the market's going down, and then Plug Power, hit enter twice, there you go. It just got to VWAP and just rejected VWAP. So I'm going to re-enter Plug at VWAP as I want to stay net short this name. Could squeeze at some point. This is the one that worked the entire morning, so it's the one I want to add back into. Hopefully holds that lower high. It already made a lower high, just looking for it to hold it now.
All right. Yeah, I mean, we did exactly what Neil was just saying right there on Intel, but we just waited for it to make that high, like we said. And I like it's 10:36. We have delayed lunch, so I don't know if that's going to be coming through here today. Let's just try to figure out what we're doing and try to look for something else. I mean, I'm just sitting in these shorts. They're all pretty big right now. So we can just continue to kind of just sit in these. I don't think there's any problems now. Intel is 63 cents in the money, like, okay. And then AMD, and again, we told you why we're in all these. AMD is now $1.10. Let's look for some more. Cisco, so we're still in a piece of this. It didn't really do too much, guys, honestly, obviously, as you guys can see. So we didn't have too much love for Cisco today. This was just kind of a starter position. So if it does fall back in, we'll still take it. That went up to 47.50. So right there, a good opportunity to get some love back in there for Cisco if it does rip back up to the upside. Let's just double check with what we're doing on our sticky note, right? I mean, you guys want to, you want to talk about what we're looking at. We had AMD written down here as a short sell, so that's why we're in it. That's why it's on the sticky note, and it's so far so good on that level. What else here? Google, let's have a quick look at Google. We just want to stay with names that we've sort of already done the work on, and then I'll do something else. Maybe on the midday, I'll think about adding to this note. But for right now, we're just going to sit here, see what we got going on with Google. So nice move up to 137. We talked about it. The only long that we really had written down on here was Google. Again, well, we had Cisco. But there it is. Huge move to the upside, touching out at 137. Great move for Google. Look at this off their report. Absolutely a monster. This thing was down to 118 at one point. Wow, there. So nice move there for Google on the day, but could have been faded there at 136, pulling back to the 50 period. This, again, could be that long that you're looking for here in Google. For me, though, for right now, because the market's below the 50 period, below VWAP, our shorts are singing, let's just stay with that. Let's stay with that noise. Let's continue to play those levels, and we'll see what's happening here with Google and a possible long if it does come in. Intel's at, or I think Intel's at VWAP right now. Yeah, so I just got that. We're not going to get any out. We've already gotten a piece out, numerous pieces out, obviously, of Intel. So let's just sit in this and see if it will continue to work. I'm happy with our current positions, and I just don't want to get too carried away. So if there are any names in the chat, I will attend. Roblox?
Roblox is, so here's, Roblox is at that level, and it just made a higher low of that level, meaning the support that we talked this morning. So this is 37 on Roblox. That's a 15-minute chart, but it just bounced once. It's now attempting to bounce twice, and there's a higher low. So if you're, sometimes you fall ass backwards into being patient, i.e. when it got to 37 the first time, I wasn't even looking at it. So we're about to go to sector watch, but Roblox is making a bit of a double bottom with higher lows off that support level on the 15. Let's go on over to the screen for sector watch.
Very mixed market today. Right now, we do have some strength in technology services, with the exception of Cisco, very notably down after earnings. Meta also down, no news on that one yet. We also have an electronic technology, a bit more mixed, with Intel, though, very strong after that Mizuho upgrade and price target increase this morning. Notable weak sectors include what's going on with energy minerals, which is weaker after the oil prices have lowered. We also have to talk about retail trade. Walmart down after earnings. Target also on watch after earnings yesterday, and some price target downgrades this morning. Keep an eye on all these names heading into the rest of the day, guys.
I never actually thought about that before. Now I'm thinking about it.
Me neither. I don't know either.
That's weird. Just a couple of things here. One, okay, we already talked about Roblox. We just talked about Roblox, but I want to go back over to Plug, which is remaining unplugged today, down 7.5%. It's actually SSR if it gets to $3.92. So $3.92, which it almost got to, by the way. It's the downside. So we roll over at VWAP. Rollover just means it was popping, and then it, I mean, heck, it does what it looks like. It rolled back over. So I just took some out in front of 4. Low of the day, we'll take some more out. Lucid as well. We looked for a chip. an EV name which was still showing some weakness but was at a level that we could fade into instead of having to sell the lows. Lucid was the answer to the question for myself. I suppose there's probably something else out there which is pretty good, but Lucid's what I picked. Into the low of the day, we're going to get some out. If it breaks down, I have a bid at 408 in case it breaks this low, because if it breaks the bottom, I think you can move like a few cents right away. So we're short Lucid, PDD, and Plug. And then we talked Roblox just there, higher lows and bouncing off that big level. And if you're only looking at a 3-minute or 5-minute intraday, you're like, why would you like a long there? It's important. You got to define where you get your levels from. You could look at a daily and say that this is bouncing off the 200-period moving average in 37. You could look at a 15-minute and see a little bit more clearly the manner in which it's bouncing off of 37. So another bounce in here. Okay, potential bounce in here today on Roblox. It's trying, but it hasn't really bounced yet. But I'd like to see if it can. Still favoring those shorts in weakish names. Oh, goodness, Tesla. Well, this isn't going to hurt. If you're short an EV name right now, Tesla 235 just broke. So where is this? I haven't hit this one today.
235? Oh, no. That's low. It's lower than we were yesterday.
In fairness, Tesla in some ways rejected 250 yesterday. 247 was the top, but in some ways it's that 250 level which Tesla might be rejecting here. So the market is red, and I just realized we got to do something. We got to take care of a little business, because yesterday was definitely deficient when it came to this, and got in trouble over not doing my contractual duty.
Like, subscribe, and share the show that takes you into the heart of the market every day.
Look at that.
Sharif's trying to hit you.
What do we think? Do we like old Sharif beard and haircut, or do we like the new Sharif?
It really doesn't matter, because it's not going to change.
Yeah, Sharif is saying that he owns Neil and that he is not changing based on Neil's opinion. I like beard Sharif.
Darwin does too.
I think there's a few people in the chat where Sharif may listen to, but I'm not going to drop any names, because right now it is everybody's favorite segment, because it just flew through right now. It is what the hell is for lunch right now. So let's go find out what is for lunch.
Oh,
and
yeah.
We're going to find out.
Go ahead.
It is grilled Italian sausage with roasted vegetable cacciatore with couscous. So that should be really, really exciting.
Well, I know.
Not.
Well, I mean, huh? Yeah. Oh, but you said not as if it's not.
Yeah, I know
good.
exactly. That was like a dramatic pause.
The dramatic pause. I'm like,
Not
well,
chicken.
we like Italian sausage. I'll probably steal some for the salad. The thing is, we're going to get the couscous as a side on our salad. That's the problem, which is not my favorite to put on a salad. I actually don't understand.
We'll see what's on top. I mean, maybe we'll get something. I still want
Come on,
tuna.
man. You know it's going to be the couscous on top of the
Oh
salad.
yeah. Well, it might be on the side, because couscous won't be the protein though. You need a protein.
I don't
That's what I'm
mind
saying.
couscous. I just don't think it's something I would put. No, whatever. It doesn't really make a difference. What was I going to get to? Tesla is flushing. Market is flushing. Trailing stop now in PDD. It just got to VWAP. And again, this is the 4th time we had it. But if you wait for like the low, the thing about it here is that it never reclaims that high. You enter it, it never reclaims the high. If it reclaims the high again, I got to get out of the stock, because it's continuing to go up. But it never reclaims that high. It's bouncing off VWAP here. Let's respect this at VWAP. I usually want to be taking profit at that level as the market is bouncing off lows. You know what? Enough of the usually want to take profit. No, I take profit counter trend when it bounces off VWAP. Follow the damn rules. So we get it. You wait for the back end of the trade. You can anticipate if you want, but when you participate, it's always going to work out a little better. This could still be bullish. It could put in a higher low, bounce off VWAP, and break out the top and all that good stuff. So we're going to get out of that one, take the money and run, hang on to the shorts that have been good the entire way, and I have not had to worry about. That's Plug. I mean, for the EVs, they've probably been good the entire day as well. And shout out to what I think could be Neo's in the pocket, right? I don't know if I want to wait for $7. If it starts making a bottom off of the levels from the last week, I might just go for it off of like 7.15, because it hasn't been getting to 7. Like 7.15 has actually been the better area to be long on Neo, because if you waited for 7, you never got any of these bounce plays. So it's within 10 cents. I think I take 2 shots at it. The first would be at 7.15.
I'm hearing reports right now, Brendan can probably confirm it, that GM has ratified said deal. So it's not moving, but I don't remember what happened to Stellantis and Ford and all that when they did said move. We do know that Warren Buffett, I think, was sold everything in GM, probably a good move. GM really sucks down here, down to 26 bucks.
It's true.
28. I mean, pretty bad there. You know, there's reasons. By the way, I was going to say there's reasons why we're in. It is confirmed from Brendo, so okay. New position was Roblox. So we are in right now, and we already took out a quarter for 10 cents. That, like, we got in and it immediately popped. So I forgot to mention that to you guys. I'm in Roblox right now against nothing, just against this bottom. I mean, that bottom's 30 cents. During the pre-market there, unfortunately our watch list came late, you guys know that, so I built the sticky note like without the watch list today. So I didn't have Roblox on there. I didn't realize the upgrades, the downgrades, all that kind of jazz. But you can see right now, we talked about it, and I didn't know the news or anything. Well, we knew the news after we read it, but coming into a level like this on Roblox is something that I feel like you want to try to respect a little bit here. So that's what we're going to try to do anyways. Roblox down here, 37. Let's just see if it comes into play. I feel like it will, so we'll wait to see if that's true.
Yeah, I think the way the market is going, you'd think it would, although the market is trying to make a bounce here. So we've talked about this time and time again. We have not broken the range. When I say we, I mean the market, right? The market has not, the NASDAQ has not broken the range today.
Right.
You've gotten underneath the bottom by 5 handles. You have been able to break out the overnight highs by 20 handles, but you didn't really take out 15.9. So it's just bottom, top, over and over and over again. So when you get to the bottom, take profits. Just got out of PDD, look for something long. I mean, Neil wasn't at support, but you know, at least Roblox was at support at this moment. So you look for those little opportunities. If you're trading equities, if you're trading the futures, you're probably just going pinball, and you could be scalping it. So as you get to the low, plug, takes them out. Again, right at that bottom, I want to stay net short this name. It's the one for me that has worked the entire way through. Lucid is a new one for me, and it's trying to get to that low. I haven't got a second fill at that low of the day. If it breaks, I should be on 10s. Why not? So I'm going to get a bit of 10s. And then Go Explore, great name. Always Go Explore, live life.
Always.
In the chat asking about Rivian. Now, when the market was bouncing, it's like I chose Lucid because of where I could short it in front of. However, if you shorted Rivian into that move, you would still work shorting Rivian into VWAP. I just didn't know that I wanted to be, if I short this, where am I stopping? 1660? I don't know that I like that. To be frank, because then I'm only playing off of VWAP and not off a previous level, which is not really the style of trade that I'm looking for. So yes, you could have shorted any pop in any of the EV names. I just took the one that set up in a way that I preferred. But they all would have worked. You could have shorted Rivian on that pop. You could have shorted Tesla on that pop. Not much of a pop at all on Tesla, so maybe you couldn't have shorted it on Tesla. These are all trending to the downside, and they've been relatively sick. Before that recent run we had the last couple of days, they were relatively sick before that when it comes to the overall market. And I mean the EVs as a group.
Yeah, I mean, even Tesla, I mean, even off that report, it wasn't great.
Not really.
It was fine, but it wasn't great. And then they really rallied back, man. I mean, some of these names, so for me, the biggest thing here is we talked about SMH, and I was, this is something that I've been talking about here for a while, about how the old school thought was like the transports led the indexes. For me, I feel like SMH right now is sort of leading everything because you have such huge AI components to everything right now. And if NVIDIA, if Google, I mean, Google is not a chip name, but I guess it kind of is with some of the chips that they've been building out. But the cloud, the chips, like everything, this SMH is kind of involved in, right? So I just feel that this hold down there that we just saw at 140 on SMH really has sparked a lot of this rally. And as you could see, although, again, pardon the split adjust and everything, this rate there, 160, is, again, if I'm going to like the long down here at 140, which I did, and I actually bought some, and you can join me on the Market Recap Show where we talk about ETFs and levels, and I talk a little bit more about my personal long-term portfolio, and I also talk about levels that have come into play that I think could be bought or whatever, and just for myself, right? So that's fine, allowed to do that, but it's coming into another level right here. So that's why I've been looking short, and SMH right now, AMD's at that level, and then I don't warn everybody because you guys know what's good, but it's just like NVIDIA's coming on the 21st, and like last time they had a monster quarter. I actually think this time good news will be good news, and this will trade properly. But you know, this top is also pretty ominous right now. So just like that SMH bottom at 400, the reason why I liked it is it gets you into everything. So it gets you into AMD, it gets you into all of that ARM. I don't even know if ARM's in there. I guess it must be, I guess so. I don't know, actually.
I don't know
because
if
ARM
they
went public, right?
I don't know if they would have put it. Look, it's going to.
Look at AMD.
Here,
yeah.
if it's not in, it's going to get in there.
So,
Right? It's just, I don't know if it
Yeah.
is. I don't know that it would be already, but it would just be a matter of time. Like ARM is going to end up in every
There goes Roblox.
every index that you would
Yeah.
think it should be, and it's going to get there. It's just a matter of.
We're now.
You just said NVIDIA's reporting, and of course that always reminds me, Marvell, they're the other name that doesn't report till later. Marvell is down 6% today. And Marvell flashed down at the open, sorry, at the close yesterday as well. This is nasty relative to the other chip
Nasty
names out there.
Nas.
To be down 6% into this, and Brennan just told me he doesn't see anything on Marvell.
No, I think it's the chip space, man.
It could be that flush is related to Microsoft's special chip yesterday on the news. That would make some sense, but then the move was aftermarket and not when the announcement came in. That's why I'm not sure it's that, but either way, this is worth keeping an eye on because it was a good move off of $50 if it gets down there last time. I heard something in my ear.
Yeah, I just quickly here, AMD, I just want to bring this to everyone's attention. We do have to go over for Money Talks, but look at AMD, man. There it goes. Let's freaking go one more time as it just pulled back. And just an update, I know we don't talk about our nets too much, but I'm now down less than we made yesterday. So back-to-back jacks there. Hopefully that was a good luck from my wife hitting the chat. So, all right, let's go. We'll see what's happening right now over at the desk as it's Money Talks with Adara.
Not too much happening with the USD right now. Still definitely reacting from that big miss on the, or I guess it was good for the market for CPI, but definitely hurt the dollar on Tuesday there. We were slightly positive yesterday. Today we are just slightly negative. We do have some Fed speak going on throughout the day as well, so that is worth keeping an eye on. But right now, yeah, definitely still yields and the USD reacting lower to the inflation data we've had this week, guys.
Thank you very much there.
What is it?
There, I can hear Sharif asking about a show that I'm curious about as well. I've heard about that show, Children Ruin Everything. It's not true. That's not true. But
They can't ruin everything.
you know what they're getting at with that show. It's like your life completely changes when you have a kid. It's like who you were before might be you're the same person, but literally everything about your life is completely different. So it's a cool concept. It's a Canadian show. I haven't seen it, but that's what Sharif was just sort of saying that in our ears. And I do want to check it out. I just don't have any time. But I wanted to point, I was just showing like Marvell looks nasty. On the daily chart, Fisker's down 8%. I want to say again, but that's not like it's the worst day that it's had. It is now cut in half in a matter of like 1 month. I don't know where the bottom's going to be on Fisker, but I do know that there's no sign that it's in yet. And you can zoom out as far as you want. This would be another name I put in that penalty box. But, like I said, we're short other names. The NASDAQ is getting back into those lows. I showed you where there we go. I showed you where the bids were. I did get an out on the low of the day on Lucid, and we're going to hang on to Plug as long as it continues downside. But I think Roblox is going to come under pressure if this market takes out that bottom. I would suspect, hit enter twice, that we're not going to hang on to this higher low. I liked it because of the higher low. If the higher low breaks, I'm out. Not giving it to the low of the day. I'm counter trend here. I want it to that higher low. And if that's not going to hold, I'm going to walk away from it. I think the way to have stayed good today was to get away from the things that aren't working and lean into the ones that are. So I'm going to stick with that because that's exactly what's worked out here today. One last one for you. Ben Ruggiano said softy team or team soft. I mean, I would say that team softy. Good news, softy's up 1%. The bad news would be 373 going in today was a bit of a triple top. So yesterday's high and then the day before. Okay, so it's like the high on the week. Well, if it doesn't hold on to that and it's been doing heavy lifting, that's not good for the overall market. I think you just lean into the shorts more if this takes out that 373 level on Microsoft. It's not a name I would want to be short. I knew it came in today. it's a relatively strong name, but if it doesn't hold on to 373, that's a pretty key level for Softy here.
So we'll play, we love that Microsoft level, man. Like I said, I feel like Microsoft's going to be my #1 stock this year, but it could be Intel. It won't be Cisco because I don't trade it that much. But look at this. I'm just about to tweet this out right now. There's the sticky note level. I mean, you guys aren't going to be able to see this, or are you? It's. You said hold it to your face. Cisco, anyways, it's long 46. So when that came in right there, we were just. Neil brought it to my attention, and I was just like, okay. And so that came in there. We were waiting for a little bit lower, of course, to put on much more shares, but that didn't come through, which is fine. But we're going to wait now to see off right there to see where it goes. But we just got it out back there. We are now flat, as you can see on the board. And right there could be the trade of the day right there on Cisco as that continues to go. So we'll cover it right now on that bump up. I mean, winners can turn into losers real quick, and there's Cisco, so that's a good trade. Go follow me at TraderTV Sean to find out all this, and ask me any questions about the trades that I was in or anything like that. You can do that for all of us, TraderTV, Brendan, Neil, and Sean as well. So yeah, we're just having a lot of fun here, and I hope that that's quite obvious. As you know, we love to trade and we love to educate and make money at the same damn time. So that's what we're all about right now. It's going to be good. We do have a much better educational show coming through because it's the focus of. Yeah, I don't know about that either, Sharif, but I'm just going to say it.
Well, it's different. It's a different style.
Yeah, it's a different style. So
it's slower paced, get more explanation.
Less trades.
Yeah, you're not trading the open. There's a limit to how much you can explain because you're engaged in the market, you're finding opportunities. An order hits, you have to stop what you're talking about and go to something else.
True.
It's just different, and that's what we're all about here. It's not that it's not better, it's not worse, but it does have the professor and Adara. What?
Yep. That's very, very nice, Neil. But right now, we are barbecuing up one more on Roblox right now. So we're just going to talk about that. We just take another 10 cents out on that one. And today, we're going to have a couple trades that we wish we hadn't. But again, as you know, that is such is life. Look at this trade there on AMD. We have 5% left on AMD. Does anybody else think it's so cute how Sharif calls Ramin
I think it's the cutest thing ever.
Like Ram.
But I don't think he does it.
Almost
Does he
like
do it
it's
on
a
camera?
pet. Huh?
I don't know if he's been doing it on
camera. He does it
camera.
on camera literally
Okay.
the whole show.
I think it's the
He
cutest
goes, Ram.
thing.
I'm fine with it. I just think it's really super cute, dude.
Ramin, is that your actual nickname or did he make that up? I made it up. Oh, he made it up. Oh, that's cute.
So cute, Sharif. So cute. All right. So, again, as I said, we're having a lot of fun right there. Oh, yeah.
Ramin is on our production crew, for those who don't know. You don't see her face.
Yeah, if you don't know, now you know. And then right here, too, AMD, guys, we just covered it. We talked about that. Look at that out right there, 118.88. We're done. I'm probably done shorting right now. I got to go for a walk, call the wife. It's been a crazy day. Many trades, about 80 or so fills so far today. It's been a definite good one, and we're super happy that we're able to recover from that trade and now just sit back and relax. Honestly, that's probably what I'm going to do. Watch this midday show and get prepped for the market recap. JC Peret's coming through today, and then Brendan and I on the podcast tomorrow. I got to prep for that as well.
The first of many,
ever.
well, weekly, I should say.
Yep.
First of our weekly podcast is tomorrow. So you wanted it. It's going to happen. The only thing I did mention, okay, NEO $7 is still a thing, but that 715 is held. So I'm long in front of 715. I just wanted to get that one out. It's the only new position. I doubt there'll be anything too crazy.
What's 715? We're mocking that thing.
This stock, it's down 9.5%.
Wow. Okay.
NEO. These EV names are getting their butts kicked. Like, look at any EV chart and tell me why we're not just You don't have to take short at the open, but you can at least think short at the open the way these stocks are going, whether it's Fisker, whether it's NEO, whether it's XPeng, everything but Li Auto, basically. But let's get out of here. You saw the positions flip because we got to flip on over to, the new educational show du jour with the professor and Adara.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to the midday show, learning how to trade. That's your girl, Adara. I'm